From an electric OR Tambo International, a very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live on SABC2. OR Tambo International has never seen anything like it.
No, this is unbelievable. Okay, let's get this crowd to say hello. Say hello! It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. This is the welcome that awaits the Springboks, the 2007 Rugby World Cup champions, as they come back home today.
Now, if you're thinking of coming down to the airport, you can still get down here. It is chaos, but the atmosphere is unbelievable. Everyone's here with their placards. Everyone's dressed in green and gold. There's even a sign over there that said,
yes,
there's been a group of people that have been here since 10 o'clock last night. This is amazing.
People wanted front row seats for this, and you can just hear them as they celebrate the 2007 Rugby World Cup win of the Springboks and Jake White. It's absolutely incredible. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Well, just to put you in the picture, the guys are scheduled to touch down probably at around about 20 to 7. We have got cameras all over the airport. We're going to watch that plane coming down. We're going to see them coming off the aircraft. Tabiso is upstairs, and he's getting another view for us. So we have got cameras everywhere around this airport. We're not going to miss a trick. We're hopefully going to speak to the family. We are really going to try our best to talk to everybody we possibly can and just catch this atmosphere that I think you already are seeing at home.
Yeah, we're going to get some of the fans to talk to us as well about the exuberance, the enthusiasm. Then I saw mothers driving in their cars into the airport with their kids wearing full uniform. I'm sure after this the kids are going back to school again. So fathers coming in here by themselves with their sunglasses, flags being waved. I mean, the energy of the people as they come here. The win of the Boks on Saturday perhaps has created a new energy for the country, some fantastic electricity to propel us forward.
I've never seen so many supporters gathering here from all hours of the morning. And again, I'm going to be reading these signs to you all the time. There's a fantastic sign just behind us that says, "Forget the whales, save Jake." Yeah. and everything else. Okay, I think we're going to leave you with the crowd screaming. I know, Sherwin, you're in the studio, and you're going to try and create a little bit of calmness. But let's leave you with a screaming. Yeah, your fans, South Africa.
This is Morning Live on SABC2. A very good morning to you. The Springbok rugby team is expected to arrive at the OR Tambo International Airport east of Johannesburg in about an hour's time.
The excitement unbelievable here. I'm joined by Marku. Marku is from Pretoria. He's one of the very excited fans who've come out here to welcome the Springboks. Marku, good morning to you.
Yeah, I'm just very excited about the Springboks win and about the World Cup Championship there.
Yeah. So, did you sleep on Saturday or didn't you? After the match, what did you do?
Not really.
What did you do?
We celebrated the whole night.
How did you celebrate? Did you go out into the streets?
We just ran on the rugby fields and celebrated and played rugby and kicked the ball around.
What was your most exciting moment during the match on Saturday? Which conversion or which penalty did you most like, or which part of the game did you thoroughly enjoy?
They were Percy Montgomery put the first conversion over. Yeah, that was the exciting part of the game for me.
Do you play rugby yourself?
Yes.
What position do you play?
I play flank.
Okay, so presumably Skalk is your favorite player?
Excuse me?
Who's your favorite player?
Francois Steyn.
Francois Steyn. He was fantastic, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a penalty just too far away to be scored by anyone? Wasn't he incredible, though?
That one, yes. I don't think so. Just the accuracy. Yeah, just the accuracy.
He was brilliant. So you're going to play for the Springboks in the year 2020?
Well, that's my dream.
Okay, Marku, thank you very much. Very well done. Marku coming in also to welcome the Springboks as they come home this morning. They'll be touching down, we are told, in the next 35 minutes or so. Leanne is with another fan here. Leanne?
Yeah, just one, because there are thousands of others, and we'll try and talk to as many as we can. Patience, are you excited?
I'm very excited. This is awesome.
So where did you come from?
I come from Mirafong in Carltonville.
And you got here at 2:30 this morning?
2:30 this morning we were here.
You kidding
to
me?
celebrate with the Boks.
All right, listen, tell us about Saturday night. What was it like? What did you do?
Oh, the game was very tough.
Yeah?
But we knew that we were going to make it.
Did you have a huge party?
We had a huge party. We've been partying since Friday. And
Yeah?
we're going to party till Wednesday.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, who's your favorite player?
Oh, Montgomery and Brian Habana.
Brian Habana. So those are really the two that you're waiting for?
Yes, there are lots, but those two are the ones who attracted me the most.
Yeah. What do you think winning this World Cup has done to South Africa?
It has really united us. As you can see, we have the Rainbow Nation. It has really brought us together. We've left our different places to come and celebrate with them, and it means a lot to us. Like I say, we are from Mirafong Municipality,
Yeah.
and they're all watching to celebrate this with us.
Did you all jump on a bus and come down here?
We came with a Quantum.
Oh. Okay, a Quantum. All right,
Yes, Quantum.
all right, good. I'm glad you came in a Quantum and not a bus. That's a good thing. Enjoy it.
Thanks, I will.
They're arriving in probably about a half an hour, so there is much excitement here at the airport for the arrival of the Boks. We're going to try and chat to a couple of more fans. There are so many here, and I know they all got something to say, but let's go to Tabiso. He's upstairs. He's got a totally different perspective. Tabiso, what's happening on your side?
Guys, and I must say there's a hive of activity up here at the domestic arrivals hall. Right at the bottom of me, there's a countdown clock. That's 961 days to go before the Soccer World Cup 2010. And you do remember that South Africa actually won the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup. It was the 20th of the 10th, so hopefully that's a good omen for us in terms of that going forward. But as I said, domestic hall's a bit busy right now. You got media crew setting down at the bottom there. We're expecting a lot of fans to come out here. The Springboks will be approximately based over here for the morning to come greet the fans. There's calling off zone at the bottom there where the fans will be expected to shout and scream, and they'll probably throw a couple of memorabilia around. But I've got a couple of guys here who've been staying around. I'm not quite sure whether they expect the Springboks to be here. Chief, you've been here all morning. You obviously were hoping to see the Springboks as well.
Yes, I'm hoping to see the Springboks as well because, you know, they made us proud, not just South Africa, but the whole of Africa. Rustenburg, you're represented. I'm all the way from Rustenburg. My name is Patrick. Thank you.
You all the way from Rustenburg. When did you get here? Because I remember the car park. There's some guys who've been here since, I think, something like 4 o'clock in the morning. What time did you get here?
I got here around about 5 o'clock in the morning just to come and welcome these guys. You know, they made us proud. I'm very much happy. And, you know, I don't know what to say. I'm very much happy for these guys.
What is the most memorable moment for you during this World Cup? I mean, a lot of people are speaking about the Brian Banners, you know, the Victor Matfield, or some of the saving tackles, the way Victor Matfield played. What is your most memorable moment for this World Cup?
You know, I'm not that much familiar with rugby, but you know, for the mere fact that those people are playing on behalf of this country, I had to watch it despite the fact that I didn't know where it was going and where it was actually coming from. But I'm very much happy for these guys.
So basically, from now on, as we expect to see you in rugby, because I remember I was in Kliptown, Soweto on Saturday, and there was hundreds of people there watching rugby. Some people actually said they were watching rugby for the first time. So you're now the converted. You're going to be supporting that rugby team.
Yes, I am. I'm converted. I'm now going to watch rugby. You know, and the excitement, it makes us very much excited. You know, I don't know what to say, but I'm very much happy for those guys.
Now let me get behind you here for a while. I don't know if the cameras can follow me. Speak to some of the ladies who have also been here waiting for the Springboks. Ladies, Ninja and Bossis, looking for you like sense and some. You guys are here in Zobonama Springboks as well. You guys are here to see the Springboks as well, are you?
Yeah, I like it Springbok.
Did you watch the rugby match? Did you?
Yeah, I like, and I waiting for these people because I love them.
Well, bottom line, the word is on the floor that people are going to support the Springboks. As I said earlier, well, I was in Kliptown. A lot of people were there, about 500 or so people converted there, and hopefully the Springboks will also be coming here. And apparently there's a gentleman who's hanging around. Oh, there he is. Meneer.
Good morning.
Are you here to see the Springboks as well, are you?
Yes, I am.
What time did you get here? Because I know a lot of people got here around 4 o'clock in the morning.
I've been here since about 6 a.m.
Now, this is a question I asked one of the gentlemen there. What's your most memorable moment from the Springboks, well, from this World Cup so far?
There were many.
Because, I mean, people mention, you know, the likes of Brian Habana, the likes of, you know, there's a lot of names that popped up.
Brian Habana is absolutely the best player I've ever seen. He's definitely not an affirmative action selection. He is there on absolute merit, and for him to get the Player of the Year, he deserves it. A lot of people says he doesn't because he didn't break the record of tries, but they must look at the tries he has scored in the last year. This is what the IRB are looking for.
Overall, Brian Habana has had a good season. He scored that most important one as well against the Sharks. Remember the Super 14 final?
Yes, for the Bulls against the Sharks. I was angry with him, but it was a good try.
Well, I'm sure you're quite happy with him now coming back home with that, the World Cup trophy as well. So who you be screaming for?
In which? Well, Brian Habana.
No, I'm talking about this weekend. Lions Cheetahs, Karika final.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, the Lions. I've been a Lion my whole life.
Well, there you have it right here, the domestic terminal at the international airport, OR Tambo. I'm sending now back to Vuyo where there's crowds holding him down there. Vuyo, what is the mood and the atmosphere down there? Out here, people are milling around, and we should expect a big crowd come to Springboks around 6:30, 6:40.
Very slowly, so that they can open everything up. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. We've got a huge crowd of people here. This is wonderful to see a nation so supportive of a world champion team.
Okay, we've lost picture to our Tambo, and while we get that satellite link back up, let me share some emails that have come in. Hi to the Morning Live team from Alan Wilson, writing to morninglive@sabc.co.za. Thank you for a great morning wake-up. We went to a wedding on a farm in the Karoo near Craddock. It was really in the middle of nowhere, beautiful family farm. The wedding started sharp at 4 p.m. The saying, "a boer maak 'n plan," was very evident. At 8:30 p.m., a screen was pulled out and the 150 guests enjoyed the Rugby World Cup final. I'm sure that the atmosphere was as good as being in Paris. Seeing 150 people stand up and sing the national anthem from beginning to end was special. Needless to say, the party went on all hours. It was a really special event. Hats off to the Copeman family for ensuring a wonderful wedding for their daughter and making sure the guests did not miss out on the great win by the Springboks. Regards, Alan and Muff Wilson, writing to us from Brooks Hill in Port Elizabeth. I'm told the satellite link is back up to the OR Tambo International Airport. Let's take you back there.
Welcome back to OR Tambo International Airport. More and more fans gathering here to come and welcome the Springboks as they come back home. We've seen kids in school uniform. I'm telling you, kids from a school in large numbers coming here also to be part of this enthusiasm and excitement. Let's hear from the SABC now. You know, the SABC went out all the way to support the Springboks, setting up fan parks at different places. How successful was this initiative?
I think it was the best success we ever had. We never anticipated the crowd as big as that, black and white, and we felt that this is uniting the nation.
At what venue were you?
I was in Tshwane, and I had to speak in between the people, and I enjoyed myself so much, and I felt the revolution, the green revolution happening. Because for us, it is important that we contribute to the people and make sure that we unite the people as the SABC. And it was a very, very, very good evening. At one point, I said to myself, this should not end, but ultimately it had to end.
With the score at 9-6, it was pretty tight and tense though, wasn't it?
It was very tense. I was watching and I was saying there was not even one try, and this was really, really very serious. But we are very excited. I was talking to the group chief executive after that because he had to go to Namibia, and he was so excited about it. And we said as a SABC, this is what a public service broadcaster should do.
What about that Francois Steyn penalty? I mean, on the other side of the touch of the halfway line almost, wasn't it?
Definitely. We really felt that this was for us a very interesting thing. We said that, and what was interesting for us also, it was because people have this belief that rugby is a white sport.
Yeah.
And for us as a nation, like we did in 1995, it was very, very clear that this is a uniting sport. We'll have to deal with the issues that have to be dealt with. But at the end of the day, they were playing for the country. They were playing for me and you. And now we're saying South Africa has won. We are #1 in the world.
So is this where the Siyangoba campaign ends, or does it go on now to different parts of the country and maybe getting the Springboks to those areas?
No, it is going to continue. we are going to be involved in some of the activities that will happen on the 26th, when there will be a ticker tape going around. We'll be involved with them when they go to Bloemfontein on Saturday, going to up until they go to Cape Town on Monday. Therefore, Morning Live will have to follow them on Monday to Cape Town to make sure that we take the people with us, because we know that in as much as there are so many people here, we've got millions and millions of people who are listening to this broadcast as we speak, also on our radio stations. For us, it is important that everybody gets involved and support this team and support this nation.
What was the turnout like in the other venues? I know you were in Pretoria, but what about Soweto? What about the venue at the beachfront in Durban? What about the venue at the Centenary Hall in PE?
Definitely, I think it was over our expectations, because where I was, I can safely say there were more than 10,000 people in that area. And when they were flicking to all the other areas, you could clearly see that there are so many people and everybody was excited, let alone there's other regional offices, because we had all the big screens also in the regional offices. And it was just exciting for us, and we realized the power of public broadcasting.
Now, winning the Rugby World Cup in 2007 on 2010, the 20th of the 10th, and does it augur well, you think, for the World Cup of 2010, the football one in particular?
Definitely. For us, we think it's a good omen. Definitely, because if we win on 2010, which means our boys from Bafana has to take a lesson from this and make sure that when they go to the next World Cup in 2010, they will bring the cup. Oh, the cup will remain here.
So when it comes here, it will stay here.
It will have to stay here.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Spokesperson for the SABC, just talking to us about the campaign undertaken by the SABC, going to various parts of the country, hosting fan parks, and ensuring that the numbers of people, in the same way as here, are able to enjoy the Rugby World Cup final in a very, very electric atmosphere. Let's return you now to the studio in Johannesburg.
Thank you very much for a very good morning to you, and we can definitely feel that electricity here in the studio. It looks like it's an absolutely magnificent homecoming for the Boks today. Let's take a look at
In about half an hour's time, thousands of fans are expected to give them a hero's welcome after their World Cup victory. The airport has warned that fans will only be able to see the team clearly from the parking area that is opposite the international arrivals terminal. Motorists travelling to and from the airport can expect heavy traffic. Stay tuned to Morning Live as we'll bring you all the action from the airport. For suspects for now, let's get our first traffic update of the day, brought to you by Alpha.
Well, welcome back as you get ready for work. We are broadcasting live from OR Tambo International Airport. Let me tell you, the Boks have landed. They are back in South Africa, and at the moment they're going through all the processes that everyone else has to go through when you arrive in South Africa. They should be making their way here shortly. They've estimated that they'll be walking through here at about 7 o'clock, but things may change there or thereabout. We're not too sure. But right now, joining in on all the action and the fun, I've got the Gauteng Premier with me, Mbazima Shalowa. Isn't this amazing, Premier?
Absolutely. I think today is one of the greatest days in our country, one in which we can unite as one country behind our rugby national team. And I hope we use today as the beginning of a long process that says, what lessons do we learn? And how do we ensure that we don't squander this moment that we have? You know, one of the points I was saying to someone is that you don't send your soldiers to war. When they come back, you say they were the wrong soldiers. You say, well done for winning the war. Now, how can we build with you in more bringing other heroes so that we can be able to go on and conquer more wars?
This is the thing, and I think that the ultimate victory is to be bringing this cup home. The team have worked so hard, the commitment, the dedication, and one thing I have to say is South African team made us proud. They maintained their cool, and they, I think, gave us a fantastic image.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we didn't hear is about, well, they were out there, they were spending a lot of time at La Luva, at the everywhere else other than on the football. I think the fact of the unity, their commitment, their patriotism, that's really the support that they need from all of us. But we also then have to be able to say, those of us who are in government, what is it that we can do to ensure better rugby in schools, to ensure better football in schools, because it's sometimes very easy for all of us to say, sorry, need to do something. We also need to be able to say, we who are in power, what is that we're doing to put real resources into ensuring that we produce more people. But really, for me, today is one of the biggest days in our country.
I have to agree with you. I have never experienced anything like this. I was telling Vuyo a little bit earlier, this is the closest I'm ever going to feel to a rock star.
Absolutely. It's really absolutely nice.
I have a gift for you. I was handed this to give to you.
Oh,
and it suits your shirt and tie.
I can now look like a real Springbok, you know. I hope people don't think I'm a mascot.
Premier, where were you on Saturday? Where did you watch the rugby?
I watched the rugby with about 15 of my friends, where we sat there on tenterhooks, each one seeing the same game, but with different results. And I think just, you know, with 5 minutes to go, I said to them, you know what? There's no way in which the English will win. Bring out the Grand Dame. Let's celebrate.
You know, there's one thing that we've been saying about 2010 is that it's going to unite the nation. This is what we're talking about. It's all of us under one flag, in one color, and it is, I've never felt anything like I'm feeling right now standing on this stage and looking at South Africans gathered together, waiting to just celebrate how proud we are as a nation.
I think it happens the world over. Success breeds more success. Everyone wants to be part of a winning team. And I think we need to use this opportunity to say, this is what harmony is all about. But how do we build on this? To further say we've got challenges in our country, but united together behind one flag, one national symbols, we can be able to make a real change.
Now, I know that throughout the country, the guys are going to be going on a tour, and a bus tour, and Johannesburg is the starting point. What's Gauteng got lined up for the Boks?
I think what we're going to do is to simply work out with them what routes we can be able to utilize, which people do we bring in, both going everywhere. But I think for me, the most important will be to see them out in Soweto in an open deck, because I think what this World Cup have done and the way the Springbok have played have taken rugby to areas which, if you take Soweto is football country, but yet at the Walter Sisulu Square of Dedication in Kliptown, at the various taverns, at the bars, it was all about Diboke.
Well, I can't wait. I cannot wait until they come. And I don't have to wait much longer. I think about 15 minutes they will be here.
Absolutely.
And we'll be screaming and shouting for them. Premier, thank you very, very much for being with us here.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're going to take a break now. And when we return, we're going to be joined by the MEC for Sports here in Gauteng. And so much more. I'm going to leave you with a song of the crowd. Listen to them. It's amazing. South Africa, we are one today.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a Springbok wave? We're not going to call it the big stick wave, it's a Springbok wave. Can we start chanting? All the hands up, come on, let's bring it right around here.
Well, the Springboks have touched down, we are told, and they are making their way through to customs, and they'll be coming through to this very stage to come and greet the hundreds of fans who have gathered here this morning. And this place has been filling up since we got here, and I must tell you, some of the people slept here last night already. At about 10, 11 they got here looking for a front row seat so that they could be part of this celebration. Umbiozo Eliteko, as we celebrate the victory of the Springboks in the Rugby World Cup of 2007. Joining us now is MEC responsible for sport, arts and culture in Gauteng, Barbara Klisi. Barbara, good morning to you, welcome.
Good morning.
Have you recovered?
Well, it's going to take some time.
Where were you? Where did you watch the match on Saturday night?
I watched it at home.
And what was it like?
Well, I think it was an extremely tense match. I think all of us were sitting there with our hearts in our mouths. At some stage, it's around about half-time. It wasn't clear what the outcome was going to be. But well, we did it.
The boys hung in there, seriously. Now, you know, it doesn't happen that in one's lifetime you can get 2 Rugby World Cups. I mean, New Zealand has done it only once and the other countries haven't seen it at all. It must give you a special sense of pride as MEC responsible for sport in Gauteng that this has happened in this way.
I think it's an absolutely fantastic victory. And one just has to look around us here this morning to see what it's done for our sense of nationhood, for our pride in being South African. I think that and the book away.
It brings with it some responsibility, doesn't it? Because after 1995, there was a bit of a decline in the stature of South African rugby, and it took a long time to rebuild and to reconstruct and to get us to this pinnacle of world rugby. There's a bigger responsibility now, 2007 towards 2011 and beyond.
Well, I think each and every one of us would really like to see many more people getting involved in rugby as a sport. From the side of provincial government, we're working very hard with our teams here in Gauteng, the Blue Bulls and the Lions. We've got a development program. We're trying to make sure that rugby is a sport that's rooted in the townships. Because I think that we don't want a situation where rugby remains a sport that is confined to a certain section of our population. We think that this victory has shown that South Africans across the board are interested in rugby, they'd like to participate, and as provincial government, we want to do more to make sure that that is a reality.
So is this in terms just of resources? Is it in terms of organizational capacity? Is it in terms of infrastructure?
I think that most importantly, it's in terms of putting resources into school rugby. We're working together with the French government on a program to upgrade the standard of coaching of school rugby, and of course we will be focusing on the townships. We're also concerned about that bridging point between school rugby and the tertiary level. We think that that's where many of our players from disadvantaged communities get lost, because they don't have the family resources to carry them through as full-time players. And we want to be doing more, working together with the different rugby clubs in our province to identify those players and make sure that they don't fall through the gaps because of socio-economic reasons.
There's also the discussion around continuity, about keeping this unit together so that this is a building block into the future.
Yes, I mean, obviously that's very important. That would be more the responsibility of national government. I think our role is to make sure that there are the stepping stones and the pathways that are developing players don't become lost and in the end find their way into the national team.
Just going back to what you said earlier, I like the expression you use about having hearts in the mouths when there was a moment of panic and just worry about whether the boys could sustain it and take it through to the very end. Do you have any special moments that you've taken away from the match on Saturday that is etched in your mind completely?
I can't think of one particular moment, but I can remember from halftime just sitting there and in a funny way, when it ended, it was almost an anticlimax. We've done it. And, you know, the announcer had to say several times, we've won, for the message to sink through.
There was a time when the commentary was lost from SABC TV, and it was commentary, I think, from England, and you could see and hear the difference in the energy of the commentators and in their attitude towards the teams. And when it came back to the South African commentators, it just lifted the game again.
Yes, no, I mean, I think on our side, by that stage, we were almost hysterical.
Barbara, thank you very much. Congratulations on your work in sport.
Thanks very much.
Barbara Creasy is MEC responsible for sport in the province of Gauteng. You're watching Morning Live on SABC2. I can tell you, we haven't had so many vuvuzelas on our program, sustained right through the broadcast. I hope you can hear us clearly. If you can't, well, bear with us because of the energy and atmosphere that we're having here at OR Tambo International. Also with us here is Thabiso Sithole. He is on the other side of the airport. Thabiso, tell us what you've picked up on that side.
Yeah, well, I must tell you, the crowds have pulled up since we last spoke to you. I must tell you, that's very hectic down here. I've got a couple of ladies who've been screaming all morning here. And they got, obviously, they got their favorites now. Daniels and who else? As you see, I've been plugged, I've been bugged by everyone out here. But I must say, it's a beautiful atmosphere. I'll speak to a couple of the guys. Guys, your favorite players, who are you looking forward to seeing?
Excuse me?
Who are you looking forward to seeing?
Schalk Burger.
Why Schalk Burger?
He's the best there is.
Well, someone might differ with you. They might say Brian Habana. Who's your favorite young man?
Brian Habana.
Oh, come on, guys. Who's your favorites out here?
Percy Montgomery.
Well, as you guys see in studio down there, it is hectic down here, but I must say the atmosphere has gathered. Things have moved on a bit, and the crowd is expected to fill up in their most. I'm not quite sure if they're still letting the crowd through to the arrivals hall, but there's people upstairs in the palace as well that expect to see the Springboks. They should be here in about the next 5 or 20 minutes or so. Press conference will be up there, so we'll hear very closely in terms of the strategies, how they feel. Remember, Jake White was fairly emotional after that victory as well of the World Cup. And the question is he staying? Is he going? We do know that his contract ends the 31st of December, well, the 1st of December this year, so hopefully he will renew it and continue and take us the Boks to the 2011 World Cup. Will be down in New Zealand, and there's no doubt who will win the 2011 World Cup. Who do you think, ma'am?
Oh, Percy Montgomery is my favorite. But the whole box team are all favorites.
Well, that's just from here from us at the terminal right now. We'll take a quick ad break. Don't leave. More in live. Stay with us.
Okay, my friend, it's in Honda.
I must say, Margaret, I must say, if the weather were out, I'm not quite sure what the weather's like internationally, but here at the OR Tambo International Airport, things are hotting up. As see behind me, they come in all shapes and sizes and genders as well. Junior Springboks, this is our future, ladies and gentlemen at home. I must say, we're very excited. They're also here to welcome the Springboks. I'm not quite sure. Young man, do you know who's coming here to the airport today?
Springbok.
Who's your favorite Springbok? Come on.
Brian Habana.
And yours?
Brian Habana.
One player. You both like the same player.
Yeah.
Did you watch the World Cup?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
Really nice.
Well, as you heard it, everyone's very excited about the World Cup. But I've also got Ashraf Karri here, who's the sports producer at the SABC SFM. Ashraf, it's going to be exciting. We've covered the World Cup from day one to now. This crowd is what the World Cup has been for South Africa. Nation building wise, it cannot get better than this.
Absolutely. You know, the question has always been just what is the level of support the Springbok team has from a South African perspective. I think looking around here, there's been a fantastic support. There's a huge core of supporters who are rugby supporters, but there are many South Africans who, believe me, probably adopted rugby 6-7 weeks ago. And that's fantastic. Listening to the crowd, many people chanting the name Brian Habana, it shows the universality of rugby in terms of its impact upon people. We know that Brian Habana became a rugby player when he saw the Boks beat the Wallabies on the opening game of the 1995 World Cup. There's been fantastic support, all South Africans, all chanting for South Africa, for the Boks, for Jake White, for bringing back the World Cup. I think it's a great feeling, and I think the challenge for all of us is to hope this is maintained for days and maybe years into 2010 as well.
Well, definitely it's going to be maintained, because I know this Friday they're expecting a ticket parade up through Gauteng as well as Pretoria. So we're still going to see more scenes like these, green and gold fluttering around across the country.
Yeah. Well, yeah, look, it starts in Pretoria and it ends finally in Cape Town on Monday when it goes into the boardroom of SA Rugby. But I'm sure South Africans who are obviously not at the airport are missing out on a big event. They'll get their chance. I have no doubt that for some people who are wondering just how many South Africans embrace it, if you were here today, and you'll see it on the pictures, there's a massive groundswell of support for the Bok team.
Well, that's right. We must leave it there. We must go to Sherwin up in at the Joburg office with the news. Sherwin, you're missing out. Pity you, but please give us the news at 7 o'clock.
Tabiso Sitole reporting live from the OR Tambo International Airport. And just a note, we will cut out of this bulletin if the Springbok team makes an appearance. Well, the Springbok rugby team has just landed at OR Tambo International after their victorious World Cup campaign. Thousands of fans, some arriving as early as 2 this morning, are on hand to welcome them. After a press briefing, the team will head for their homes and will meet again on Friday for a ticker tape parade starting in Johannesburg. There will also be visits to other cities like Bloemfontein, Durban and Port Elizabeth. Morning Live will continue its broadcast from the airport until 9:30 this morning. Only 4 of the 5 suspects charged with the killing of the reggae star Lucky Dube will appear in court today. Police spokesman Eugene Opperman says the police could not link the 5th suspect to the murder case. But he will appear in the Katlehong Magistrates Court on charges of stolen property. Hofman says the 4 suspects are facing charges of attempted murder, and possession of illegal firearms. 43-year-old Dube was killed in what police believe was a botched hijacking in Rosettenville, Johannesburg last week. Meanwhile, it's been announced by his family that his funeral will be a private affair. The funeral will be held on Sunday at Farmers Hall in Newcastle. There will be a memorial service in Newtown, Johannesburg tomorrow. Former Mozambican President Joaquim Chissano says he hopes the Mo Ibrahim initiative will change the way African leaders work. However, he says they have a responsibility for good governance despite the prize. Chissano was announced as the winner of the $5 million prize for African leadership in London yesterday, but was not there to receive the award. He was in Juba, Sudan on a mission as a UN envoy.
Chissano, a former revolutionary, won the Mo Ibrahim Prize for his role in leading Mozambique from conflict to peace and democracy after years of civil war. And speaking to journalists at the Serena Hotel in Kampala, Uganda, after his return from Juba last night, he said the award would help him a great deal.
I have had other awards where I was very much pleased in receiving those awards because they were forms of recognition. And this is the most important. But this one is more significant because I can make use of it to improve my living and the living of my family, and I can also try to help other people.
Chissano served as president of Mozambique from 1986 to 2005. He signed a peace deal with the rebels in 1992 and stepped down as president in 2004 after 18 years in power. His sound economic policies that have helped to rebuild what was once the poorest country in the world won him acclaim. Since leaving office, Chissano was appointed UN envoy, working to resolve the conflict in northern Uganda.
3 minutes after 7 o'clock, you're watching Morning Live on SABC2. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund have been criticized by civil organizations and NGOs for their failure to come up with concrete programs to fight world poverty. At the end of their 3-day meeting in Washington, the world's biggest lending institution said they would speed up the process of debt cancellation.
After 3 days of deliberations, civil society group says these institutions are still having no clue about the seriousness of poverty in Africa and how to tackle it.
But the policies that both institutions pursue and implement around the world are not usually brought out into light in detail at these meetings.
This meeting has just confirmed the failure of the credibility test again that the bank and the fund have been having for the past few years.
Rich nations were also criticized for their unfulfilled promises that were made 2 years ago in Gleneagles.
It's not fair that while the developing countries have done everything that they've been asked to do to change their economies, rich countries still haven't delivered on their aid promises that were made back in 2005 in Gleneagles. This is a dereliction of duty on behalf of the rich countries. They absolutely have to make sure they pay up because people are dying every day while they're not paying.
Both the IMF and the World Bank considered that poor countries will not meet some of the Millennium Development Goals by 2015.
And finally, women have started making their mark in the construction industry. They were honored at the Women in Construction Awards in Cape Town last night.
In the Western Cape alone, contracts worth hundreds of millions of rands have already been awarded to females in this male-dominated industry. Western Cape Minister for Transport and Public Works, Marius Fransman, was proud to announce the strides taken in empowering women in his ministry.
We've seen many female companies coming in its own right, not as fronting, but as in its own right. And secondly to that at least a couple of million, 300 to 400 million rand was awarded to female contractors.
Awards were handed out to the best female achievers in the province. Sharon Isaacs of Blackheath on the Cape Flats says she had to face many challenges when first starting out with her fencing business.
This award means a lot to me. I'm shaking. I've been in this industry for a long time, for 25 years, and it is my passion, fencing people in.
Isaacs, however, acknowledged the many hurdles that women still have to face in the construction world, and she pointed out financial institutions as one of the main stumbling blocks.
Fransman agreed. He acknowledged that the face of the industry is slowly changing, but added that these are still early days and that much more still needs to be done. Abra Barbia, SABC News, Cape Town.
Okay, a quick look at the day's market indicators. Okay, that is the news here on Morning Live. One of our stories in that bulletin, you might have noticed, is a story on the ticker tape parade, the Springboks gathering again on Friday and going to various centres around the country. Just on that point, Liz Mott from East London, writing really on behalf of East London fans to us here at Morning Live. Hi there, we want to know why East London is not included. That's not the only event that we're not included in, as we are part of the Eastern Cape, just like Port Elizabeth. Why must we travel to PE to see the Bokke, whereas they can come here and entertain us? Do you guys know the celebration that went on in East London was to die for, says Liz Mott. Please include East London as well. We will appreciate it. Thanks on behalf of East London fans. And hopefully the authorities, the rugby authorities, are listening. And who knows, maybe they can make a detour down to East London in the Eastern Cape. Live pictures at OR Tambo. Great excitement. The Springboks due out any minute. Where we're going to now? Back to airport. An ad break. Back at OR Tambo right after that.
When you left home for foreign land to pursue the most prestigious award, you conquered many challenges, made enemies and friends. As you come back home, we salute your courage and spirit. Let the whole world step aside for the champions. Thank you for bringing it home. Feel at home with SABC2, the home of champions.
Folks, Bokke, true South Africans. Another one over there, Percy, you beauty. Bonsoir, you hotties.
Well, welcome back to OR Tambo International Airport. It is crazy here. That's all I can tell you. I've never seen so much activity in one place in my life before. Now, at 25 to 8, the stage that we're standing on is going to be full of the Bokke. They're here. They're just doing everything you have to do when you arrive in the country, and they'll be coming out here to address their fans. And I'm trying to guess how many thousands of fans are here. I think there are about 3,000 fans here, and it's absolutely unbelievable. It's amazing. You don't have to say much. And wait, I've got a little guy tapping me on my leg. I have to find out, how are you doing?
Yeah, just be me.
Yes, you're on the news. Who's your favorite player? It doesn't bite. Okay, who's your favorite player?
My favorite player is
I think it's the tote favorite here. He's also the favorite player in the world after winning an award. I'm joined here by Tshwane Mayor Gwenda Magope. The first question I've asked everybody is, it's amazing. It's not a question, it's a statement, because I know you agree with me. How are you feeling now?
Well, it's a really wonderful feeling. It's a true South African feeling. It is similar to the 1994 feeling of South Africans together and becoming a winning nation. And today, as we celebrate the World Cup, Rugby World Cup, that same spirit is there. And we would want South Africans to keep the spirit towards the World Cup 2010 and beyond. It's really wonderful.
I've just heard, I think, that the players have arrived. I'm not too sure. I'm getting voices in my ear, and as soon as they do, we'll cross over there. But let's continue to chat further about Tshwane on Saturday night. What was it like? Because that, I don't know. I'm almost going to say those are probably the biggest supporters in South Africa. Please don't shout at me, South Africa.
Oh, yes. I actually did a check back. About 11 of the South African team comes from
just a request to all our media, members of the media,
the rugby team, the Blue Bulls, but all of them are South Africans. That's what's great about this. South Africa and Tshwane in particular was behind the whole team, and we were very proud. Tshwane is a rugby city as well, so it's not only rugby, it's soccer, it's cricket, it's a city of champions, it's a city of competitive sports, and we're really excited that the Bokke brought us the World Cup.
I know, and we'll be singing along to all of these songs as well. I know the bus parade is going to go through there, but we'll find out about that a little bit later on in the program. Mayor, thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy the atmosphere. This is hopefully not a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Hopefully we'll have many more moments like this. Okay, I'm going to get away from the speaker now because there's lots of screaming and singing, and Vuyo is right at the back of the crowd now, and let's cross over to him and just have a look at the camera where it goes. Vuyo's there.
All right, Leanne, thank you very much. We are joined now by young boys and the principal of the school where Jake White was once a boy. He studied there, but also a teacher at one time. Jeppe High School for boys. Sean is here, so is Junior, and the principal. Let's start with you. You were at the World Cup. Were you at the final at the stadium?
We were. I was privileged to be there on Saturday night.
And what was it like?
It was absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere, the support, walking in Paris and seeing it invaded by green and gold was absolutely fantastic. And the thing that will stick to me is that the Eiffel Tower was lit up in green and gold on Friday night, I thought, which was a great omen that we will win on Saturday.
So when the final whistle went, what did you do?
Relief and just one big cheer, and everybody went absolutely crazy. It was fantastic. It's difficult to describe to anybody if you haven't been at the match as such.
But were you able to get into the Springboks camp at all? Were you able to see any of the players close up?
Unfortunately, we were not. Some of the people that we know that was in the group with us stayed in the same hotel. But the guys were apparently very, very tense, although they were still very friendly. But you leave them alone before a game like that. You know, they've got other things to think about than us, the fans. They had to win the game.
Okay, from the school that gave the country the Rugby World Cup winning coach of 2007. Let's hear from Junior. Junior tells us he plays flank. So, Junior, who's your favorite player?
I guess it will have to be Scott Brugger, so.
Why?
No, so the way, well, he inspires the way I play. So the type of game plan that he plays is my game plan. So yeah, I could say that he inspires me. So.
Interesting for me. When you walk with your chest out. Is this in preparation for your Rugby World Cup in 2022?
No, really, it's just that as JP boys we're taught to walk with pride and integrity, and I guess from the school, the whole mood is to be big and on the way that you're walking in.
Yeah.
So I guess it comes from there as well. So.
Okay, what does it mean for you that Jake White was once a Jeppe High School old boy?
Geez, it means a lot. So compared to, I mean, the criticizing that he had got from the beginning, and he's come up from that, and he's proved that becoming a JP boy and playing like a JP boy will mean a lot for this country. And I guess, yeah, so that would bring a lot and lots of publicity to JP boys and as well as the country. So.
Okay, let's speak to Sean. Sean tells us he plays inside center. Sean, what were you doing on Saturday? Where were you?
So I was at a friend's house watching the rugby, and when it was over, we went crazy.
Yeah. And your favorite player is Bakkies Botha?
No, so not Bakkies Botha. I'm more of a backline man, so we like the pretty boys, so we spend the money, so we score the tries, so I'd have to say Francois stayed.
You're the pretty boys.
The pretty boys, sir. We don't want the girls love, sir.
Francois stayed. He was magnificent, though, with that penalty, eh?
Amazing, sir. Amazing.
What about the composure? I mean, from that kind of distance, in that kind of atmosphere, it must have been very difficult.
It's a great achievement. So, I mean, he's 20 years old, and he's already won a World Cup. It's amazing. He's a hero, sir.
So you are looking forward to playing for the Springboks as well?
I hope one day, sir. All JP boys, sir, obviously.
Okay, let's give one shout from JP boys. Come on, everybody.
JP James on 3. 1, 2, 3, JP!
There you go, Jeffy boys proudly supporting the Springboks, but also supporting Jake White, the coach, who was once a student there and a teacher at one time. 375 of them, full uniform, have come out to support the Springboks. Let's speak to this lady here. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Where have you come from?
I'm coming from North Riding.
From North Riding. And when you watched the match on Saturday, how did it feel?
It was so great.
Yeah.
Yes, it was so great. It was marvelous, of course.
Yeah. What did you do at the end of the match?
We just scream, we make a drive, we make those fun with friends.
So coming here this morning, what time did you wake up? How did you get here?
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you woke up at 3 in the morning?
Of course, yes.
And then?
We come here straight in the airport, then we're waiting for the boats to come back.
So what are you going to do when you see them?
Ooh, I don't know. I can't explain it, of course. I can't. Of course. Viva, Palapala, viva!
Okay, woke up at 3 a.m. this morning from North Riding in Johannesburg. The fans have come out in their numbers. Yes, some more fans. What is your name?
Carla.
Carla. Where did you come from?
From Pretoria.
So you were watching the match on Saturday?
Yes.
And?
It was really, I was stressing like a lot, but it was really great.
And who's your favorite player?
Brian Abana.
Brian Abana. And who's your favorite player?
Also Brian Abana.
Also Brian Abana, not Francois Steyn.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's your favorite player?
Brian Abana.
Brian Abana, not Francois Steyn, not Skalk Burger.
Francois Steyn too.
Okay, we're going to cross now to Thabiso Sithole, and the excitement here building and building. The players are here. They'll be coming out shortly. Stay right where you are to be part of this enthusiastic welcome of the Rugby World Cup conquering Springbok team as they arrive back home. Let's go back now to Thabiso. Thabiso, what's the latest on your side?
Thank you very much, Dave, but I must say, ole, is what rings at the General Hall. Domestic arrivals here at the OR Tambo Airport. I can hardly hear myself speak, but I must say the crowds have so much gathered. There's now more people than we were when we arrived at our this morning. One of the ladies here is Shekinah Mulder, and she is Mrs. South Africa. So if you only thought that rugby players are supported by rugby fans, well, Mrs. South Africa, Shekinah Mulder is here with us. Shekinah, now you have the bonus box. One would think you'd have had a Springbok jersey on, but you got your sash, proudly South African.
I don't know, what do you want to say?
I'm just saying, the Springboks are coming here, you're obviously looking forward to them, that's why you're here, obviously.
Yes, definitely. Here to cheer on that team that gave us that #1 push internationally.
What about you, ma'am? You've been draped next to me when the side's been playing. You must be proud as well, but you should be in school, don't you?
We're just skipping today because we really want to see the books.
You heard it from right here, Moelab. Kids are skipping school, just see the box. But now, let me bring Ashraf Garda back. Ashraf, you spoke about a very important thing here earlier before we went to the break. The way forward now, a lot of people are saying, you know, Jake White has been linked to a couple of teams overseas. What is the way forward? We also had President Thabo Mbeki have a bit of a say on that as well.
I think it's an interesting one that, you know, the question is, South Africa's won the World Cup. Do we break up this team very quickly, or do we build on a legacy? And a legacy means to win the next 3 World Cups, become the Brazil of rugby. Jake White initially, well, there's a big noise here. Jake White initially suggested that he may be on the way out. He hinted yesterday he needs time to talk about it. I think significantly, the president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, said yesterday that it's not his call, but if he had a choice, he doesn't think where you have a coach of the year, a team of the year, a player of the year in Brian Abana, and you have a World Cup winning team, he doesn't think it makes sense if this team is broken up. And he suggested very strongly that Jake White should stay on. I'm pretty certain, Thabiso, if we ask the crowd here, do you want Jake White to stay? I have no doubt the crowd, well, let's ask them. Do you want Jake White to stay?
I think it's unanimous right there. Jay wants. So in terms of that, I mean, looking forward, you've got a couple of guys from China, you've got a couple of guys going to play abroad, the guys, John Smith and those guys, that's another contentious issue. What about them? Will they be eligible for
you remember in the past, in the Stroily era, we had a situation where players playing abroad couldn't represent the country. That changed with Jake White. So I think there's 2 issues. One, can he stay? And can players like Victor Matfield and John Smith actually stay? And I believe, as South Africans, we want them to stay. It's almost like a Benny McCarthy story. If you look at, as we're talking, The Shosha-Loza sounds are reminiscent of 1995 and the 1996 African Cup of Nations. And supporters want to back a winning team.
That is the argument yet again. Some people will say, why would the Springboks be getting this massive support all over the world, all over the country? Why is South Africans backing them? And it's a pretty simple formula. Winning team, winning nation, and that's what people want to see.
I saw a sign now from a player, a supporter, kicked it out in a soccer kit, and his placard said, "Congratulations, the Boks, you make me hate soccer." It's a challenge. It shows you bring a winning team, people will come out in big numbers.
Well, there's a couple of bands behind you. It says Habana Gate, man, that's Bana Go. So overall, I mean, there's nothing more to be said out. So the crowd's waiting for their players. We all know who their favorite players are. Brian Habana is the Victor Matthew of the world. Even Mrs. South Africans out to support them. So I must say, Springboks homecoming for you is going to be exceptionally well. And you know, I think I owe you something. You made a bet basically before the World Cup about who's going to win, what the total would be. And I think I owe you a bet already.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I cannot even hear you.
Let's meet some of the crowd as well. Man, don't support Savannah.
Yeah, Brian Habana!
Who's your favorite fan?
I'm very happy.
What about? One favorite fan yako?
Viva, viva!
1, 2, 3. Well, if you guys are having fun out in the parking lot, Leanne and Gloria, forget it. The terminal is buzzing. Everything's happening right there. It's pretty much be out there in the next 5-10 minutes or so. So hopefully they will be here, and this crowd will keep on starting to welcome them home. I'll now pass back to you and Leanne. Cheers.
Very good morning to you once again. Let's take a look at our forecast for today. And we've got a cold front which is making its way through the southern interior. That brings lots of rain and moisture all the way through the western interior, down along the southern coast, into the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. Scattered showers and thunder showers. Those become isolated into the interior, and those isolated showers extend all the way northwards through the central parts of Botswana. Mostly partly cloudy skies across South Africa today, with some sunshine towards the extreme northern parts of the Northern Cape and the extreme northeastern parts of the country. One warning for today: gale force southwesterly winds are expected to blow through the day today, associated with this cold front between Mossel Bay and East London. Starting off the day on 15 degrees in Cape Town, Pretoria and Mafeking, 17 degrees in Port St John's and Pietermaritzburg. By lunchtime, highs of 34 expected in Messina, 33 in Lephalale. It's going to be a warm day in Johannesburg, Pietermaritzburg and Durban. All three stations reach highs of 26 degrees. A mild day through the Eastern Cape. Cold conditions expected down along the southern coast and towards Cape Town, with temperatures staying in the teens through the day. Also cold conditions into the western interior. A warm day in Uppington on 27 degrees. A high of 31 expected in Windhoek. Also a high of 31 forecast for Gaborone, while we can expect maximum temperature of 30 degrees in Maputo, Mozambique. Looking ahead to tomorrow, scattered and isolated showers and thunder showers towards the eastern and southeastern parts of the country. Partly cloudy skies extend all the way down towards the southern coast as well. Behind our cold front, cold conditions into the southern and southeastern interior. Sunny skies and fine weather once again tomorrow along the west coast and into the western and southwestern interior. And then looking ahead to Thursday, once again sunny skies towards the western parts of the country, extending into the western interior. Partly cloudy skies through the central, northern and eastern parts, and very cold conditions are introduced into the interior of KwaZulu-Natal, with scattered and isolated showers and thunder showers expected through KZN, parts of the Eastern Cape and onto the central and eastern Highveld. That's all the weather I have for you for now. I'll see you again in about half an hour.
Morning live on SABC2. The news headlines at 7:30. The Springbok rugby team has landed at OR Tambo International after their victorious World Cup campaign. Thousands of fans, some arriving as early as 2 this morning, are on hand to welcome them when they emerge from the terminal building. After a press briefing, the team will head for their homes and will meet again on Friday for a ticker tape parade starting in Johannesburg. There will also be visits to other cities like Bloemfontein, Durban and Port Elizabeth. Morning Live will continue its broadcast from the airport until 9:30 this morning. 4 suspects charged with the killing of reggae star Lucky Dube will appear in court today. Police spokesperson Eugene Opperman says the 4 suspects are facing charges of attempted murder, and possession of illegal firearms. 43-year-old Dube was killed in what police believe was a botched hijacking in Rosettenville, Johannesburg last week. Meanwhile, it's been announced by his family that his funeral on Sunday will be a private affair. Former Mozambican President Joaquim Chissano says he hopes the Mo Ibrahim initiative will change the way African leaders work. However, he says they have a responsibility for good governance despite the prize. Chissano was announced as the winner of the $5 million prize for African leadership in London yesterday, but was not at the ceremony. Still abroad. Okay, we're going to cut out of this news bulletin. The Boks are coming through. Let's go live to OR Tambo now.
Working 4 years to bring this back to the country. The crowd is going crazy. Absolutely incredible moment. There you have it. Jake White, John Smith being interviewed here, and it's a wonderful moment. Everybody's going absolutely crazy. We're trying to squeeze in. As soon as they finished interviewing him on the stage, we'll get in there and and try and get one or two words out of them. We're all on standby here, and I tell you, this is called living on the edge of your seat. Well, there's Jake White. I've got eye contact. I'm moving in. Jake White, Leanne Manus, Morning Live. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. That's unbelievable.
Is this not the most amazing thing you've ever seen?
Yeah, I mean, they spoke about it in France about how special it was, but I think when you get here and you see it with your own eyes, it's incredible.
That's amazing. And there's Brian Havana. I mean, this is the man we've been hearing about. Brian, congratulations. Come stand here. You're on Morning Live. How are you feeling? Look at this.
Leanne, it's unbelievable. You know, I don't think we expected it. It's been a long journey for us in the last 4 years, but for what we've done for this nation, it's something really we can be proud of.
Yeah. Well, all I can tell you is that you are the hero here in South Africa. The whole team is the hero, but you speak to anyone and they just go crazy. I mean, just lift your hand up, see what happens. Enjoy this. How was it? How was the World Cup for you?
It was an unbelievable experience, Dan. I think the French have to take a lot of credit for the way they hosted us. Jake and John that led this team immaculately in the last 4 years. It's been a journey of ups and downs, and we're just happy that we could have brought that little cup home with us.
Oh, you've got it. Congratulations. We are standing with the cup now. We're over to you.
Let's welcome the captain here. John, how are you feeling? Look at the people. Look at the excitement you've generated.
This is incredible. I said 2 days ago that it was one thing winning it, but it would be a completely different thing bringing it back home to the people who deserved it. So for us, this is a big moment, and probably the first time that we really settled into terms of what we've done.
You hold it so close to you. It's as if you were sleeping with it right through after winning it on Saturday night.
I don't want to let go of it. I've worked very hard for this little guy, so I don't want to let go. I want to hold on for as long as I can.
So there was stuff inside of it from which Jake and yourself were drinking on Saturday. There's nothing in here today.
Not yet. That was for Saturday, so it's empty for today.
So the people are going to be seeing you at different places around the country to share with you this excitement.
That's right, yeah. We start on the 25th, we get together, and then we go through from Pretoria, Joburg, Bloemfontein, Port Elizabeth, Durban, Cape Town. So we're taking this little guy everywhere.
I think that this is more difficult than the World Cup itself. You must have done over 300 interviews already since Saturday night.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing more difficult than having managed to get this guy back. So the fact that we can be showing this trophy off makes it all worthwhile.
Okay, John, congratulations. Congratulations, John Smith, the captain of the Rugby World Cup winning Springboks. Here's Percy Montgomery. Percy, how are you doing? This is Morning Live on SABC2. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We understand you played with an injury right through the match.
Yeah, just my knee's gone a bit. Ligaments, yeah.
How does it feel now?
That's pretty strapped up, so... Well, but I'll get an assessment when I go down to Cape Town.
You had a fantastic World Cup. I mean, the point scoring over 100 points, and during the final, you didn't put a foot wrong.
No, that's good. I think it's a good vibe in the team, and the boys all stuck to their guns, and we got the cup, and that's the main thing.
What about the pressure the English were trying to put on you? They were writing bad articles about you and calling you names in their newspapers.
Do you know what? At the end of the day, we got the cup, and that's the most important. You know, you turn the negatives into positives, and look who's laughing now.
And the millions of South Africans who are so proud of you, what's your message to them this morning?
It's just awesome to be part of this whole winning the World Cup, and I'm just glad I can make a difference to so many millions of people out there.
Okay, fantastic. Congratulations again, Percy. Jake White, the Springbok coach, says he knows that Percy Montgomery is the fittest 33-year-old anywhere in the world at any given time. Let's welcome also Zola, who's the spokesperson for the Springboks. Let's welcome him and just get a few words from him. Zola, welcome back. How are you feeling?
Feeling fantastic, feeling, Vuyo. Overwhelming.
It's been a 4-year journey.
Absolutely, Vuyo. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, we've made it. We had to do what we had to do.
Yeah.
Bring the Webb Ellis Trophy back to South Africa.
Tell us about how you felt on Saturday night after the final whistle had been blown.
I think emotions just overwhelmed me, and it just came out naturally. You know, we worked so hard, very, very hard, with dedication and commitment. And with all the inspiration from the people at home and blessings, you know, everything just came out. We just let loose. And it was a feeling that we couldn't stop. That's how, you know, that's why we just lifted the president, we threw him up. If we had a better way to do it, we would have thrown him higher than higher than anything else.
Zola, thank you very much. I know you're going to PE and other places where people can share in this moment. with the Springboks, the all-conquering Springboks, who have arrived home this morning and very proud of their achievement. Ashwin Willemse was one of the members of the team. Ashwin, come over here. Let's just bring Ashwin over this way. Ashwin, come this way. You were with Zolayeye. You picked up the president and put him on your shoulders. What was going through your mind at that time?
I think that's probably just shows us the impact with all. It's like carrying the whole nation on your shoulders, and that's exactly what happened. And I mean, it was just in the awe of the moment. I think we all just felt so little and so small when that happened. It was beautiful.
Where's your medal? Is it in your bag somewhere? Your medal, where's your medal?
My medal is in my bag when I said.
We'd like to see the medal, man. We've already seen the trophy itself. It'll be fantastic to see the medal itself. Ashwin Willemse, one of the members of the team that conquered the world to win the Rugby World Cup of the year 2007. The atmosphere is incredible. It's completely electric. I just want to show you the medal that Ashwin Willemse has brought home, and the other guys have brought home as well. We're going to speak to Francois Steyn, who scored that fantastic. Come this way, Francois, please. Just one word. Just one word. Don't run away. Just don't run away. Come on. Francois Steyn running away from us. This is the medal. This is the medal that the South African rugby players have brought back home with them, each one of them, with their contribution to the South African team, the all-conquering Springboks. Ashwin, thank you very much, man. Congratulations. Very, very well done. Francois is not keen to talk to us. Francois, we got to congratulate you, man. That penalty that you scored, it was absolutely amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks, yeah, but I can just thank the team. It was a special team that we played in, and it was an awesome 6-7 weeks.
How did you feel that time when you were about to take that penalty? What was going through your mind?
Nothing really, because I knew if I screwed up, there were teammates behind me that will cover for me, so nothing really,
But a lot has been said about you because you're like magic on the field. I mean, you're not afraid to take chances. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I think, you saw me play. It can be good or bad. So I can just thank the Lord for everything that he gives me.
And the coach says to you, Francois, go out there and do your thing.
Yeah. I just enjoy it when I'm on the field. So that's the main thing.
Congratulations again. And thank you very much. Francois Steyn, 20 years old, Rugby World Cup winning gold medalist in the year 2007. It's incredible, Leon, isn't it?
It's amazing. It is chaos here. I don't think we can actually explain to you. I think the camera might be able to pick up how we're all being bashed around at the moment. And it's just everybody is so excited to see these guys coming up onto the stage. And they are shell-shocked. They have these eyes. There we go. How are you doing?
Excellent, thank you.
Congratulations. How are you feeling?
Yeah, excellent. I mean, it's a dream we've been working for 4 years. It's just amazing.
I know. What was it like being there in France, experiencing it, and when you walked up there and held that World Cup, knowing all your hard work had paid off?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream. I've been for 4 years now. It was 7 hard weeks. We prepared well, so in the end, our dream came true, and it was excellent.
Did you guys have any idea what was happening here in South Africa?
Yeah, we had rumors that it's going to be chaos, but not like this. But it's amazing. It's just great.
I know you're in for an incredible time here. I won't tell you your schedule, but you've got to believe that they're going to be looking after you. And it's just so great to have you back.
No, thank you. Thanks for having us back again.
It's an absolute pleasure. Enjoy it.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
There, Vuyo, I know. There we go. Over to you, Vuyo.
We've got here Os Durant. Os, 2 World Cup medals for you. How does it feel?
Yeah, obviously, to win 1 World Cup is something great that you achieve, but to achieve a second one is something great, and it's something that I always treasure, and we've got great memories of the second one, the first one. So yeah, definitely cherish it.
Now on Saturday night, did you have to spend a lot of time with John and the guys to say, guys, come down, it's in control, we are doing the right things, we will get to the 80th minute of this match?
No, not really. I think the guys, they were pretty much mature, in their preparation. Everybody knew what to do, what was expected from everybody, and everybody stuck to their jobs, and just we pushed through, and the guys were very calm, after when he came out, the guys were talking, you could see the guys were relaxed, and they wasn't too psyched up, they wasn't too nervous. So that was a good sign for me personally, so I immediately know, that we'll definitely be in for a chance to win it.
Okay, Os, congratulations to you, and congratulations to the team. Very well done. Thank you very much to Os Durant. who has won 2 Rugby World Cup medals in his lifetime. It's incredible. Not many people can tell you they've achieved that much in their lifetime. You're watching Morning Live on SABC2. It's absolutely electric here. We're trying to find the other players so that we can talk to them as well and just give you a sense of the energy that has been going on here at the stadium. Leanne, amazing.
I'm trying.
Amazing.
I'm trying to find these people as they get in here, but it's such a tight squeeze. It's fantastic. I don't think that I can explain to you in words the excitement that's currently happening here at OR Tambo International Airport. The guys are shell-shocked. The crowd is going mad. Every angle I turn, there's something new happening. So while I'm being pushed aside here, and I can understand, whoever gets the best photograph, in the middle of that scrum, of course you can see is Brian Habana signing all of these autographs. Everyone wants to be, here we go, there we go.
James is here. Butch, welcome to Morning Live here on SABC2. Welcome back to the country.
No, it's great to be home. Obviously, we've been away for nearly 7 weeks now. To return with the cup to this reception has been unbelievable.
Did you expect this?
Yeah, we always knew we could win it. I don't think you go there expecting to win, but we knew we had the team to win, and we did it.
Did you have a most difficult match? The group stages, the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, the finals. Was there one particular match that you look back at and you say, yeesh, we really worked hard to get through this?
Yeah, I think as a squad, against Tonga, we pulled through that one, and then the same against Fiji. And then the final was obviously a really tough game as well. So, yeah, most of the games are really tough.
When you look at England, 36-0, and then England in the final, what happened to that team?
No, they were a different team in the pool compared to in the final, and yeah, it was all credit to them. It's hard to turn it around like they did, and they did a great job in it to beat Australia and make it to the final.
Did you panic at all during the final?
No, not at all. I think we always were in the lead, so a little bit of a panic when they nearly scored, but it was all right.
What went through your mind when you saw that try and that period of about 3-4 minutes as the referees were deciding whether to award the try or not?
No, I wasn't too worried. Even if they'd given the try, I knew we would have got some more points and been ahead of them.
Butch, thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations. Butch James, a member of the Rugby World Cup winning Springboks of the year 2007. It is massive here on this stage at the OR Tambo International. It's difficult to stand still. The players are being pushed, we're being pushed, camera people are being pushed. We really beg your understanding at this time, trying our best to get you all of the players, as many of them as possible. It's very difficult now because I think they're being moved to the other side, which is on the domestic side of the airport where the press conference is going to take place. They'll be answering questions to the multitudes of journalists who are here, journalists from here at home and journalists from around the world. Leanne's still trying to find some more players, but it's difficult at the moment.
No, it's over. I'm actually watching the players being stopped right at the top there. There's so many fans here, and unfortunately I think one of the big things that's happening is that so many fans are jumping onto the stage now, and the players are now being escorted off, and they're going to go, as you heard Voya saying, into a press conference, and we'll get to hear more from them, and I think in a calm environment. I think they're shell-shocked. I don't think they can actually believe the excitement that's happening here and the pandemonium that South Africa has caused at this airport. It's madness. Well, here we go. How are you guys feeling?
Very good.
Are you enjoying this?
Yes.
It's fun, hey?
Yes.
Who's your favorite player?
Brian Habana.
Did you see him? Wow. Who's your favorite player?
Habana.
Also your favorite player, Brian Habana. What about you?
Yeah, welcome to the box. We are happy here. They did us proud. Looking forward to this will beat this England. They go home crying. Viva Bonka Bonka, viva!
Hey, viva Bonka Bonka! Yeah, here come Iboka. Right, they here.
He brought his bell with him. Why did he bring the bell with him?
Where's making you made a bigger noise now. Let's go back to the Johannesburg studio. I think it's too mad here. And we'll come back to us in a couple of minutes. Show him.
Okay, welcome back. You're watching Morning Live on SABC2. South African rugby has been described as a dog-eat-dog world following the turmoil the team had to endure in the last 4 years. As the Springboks were preparing for this World Cup, there were calls from various quarters for a quota system to be implemented. But the team has managed to rise above all that to bring us the glory of the Webb Ellis Trophy. Some perspective now with the Sports Minister, Makinkezi Stofile, who joins us from our parliamentary studios in Cape Town. Minister, warm welcome to Morning Live. How are you feeling this morning?
Well, I feel okay. I feel quite rested. And it's nice to see the boys come home to such a warm reception.
Where were you, Minister, when that final whistle went in Paris on Saturday?
I was sitting in my seat at the Stade de France in Paris.
Right. And obviously just very excited and sharing in the excitement with thousands of South Africans around the country. And also now the important work in transforming rugby begins. Where does the issue of transformation, Minister, fit into the live pictures we see today, the euphoria South Africans are experiencing today? The issue of transformation has been a sticking point for some time.
Well, we've been speaking about it since 1992 already. And we will continue to speak about it until it is achieved.
What needs to happen next, Minister? I mean, we've got a World Cup winning team that's just arrived back in the country. What do we mean that when you say that transformation is an issue that needs to be tackled?
That's a naughty question. You know exactly what it means. You see, in 1995, we only had Chester Williams on the World Cup winning side. And in 2007, we had Brian Abana and Peterson in the World Cup winning side. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the participation of as many South Africans at as many levels as is possible. You have to go to the schools. Actually, you only had to look at the under-18s and the under-21s of the last 3 years and see everybody, including the media, confirmed that this was the face of the future, and all of them were wrong. Now that is what we mean. We must give opportunity to all those who have it and make sure they become part and parcel of the structures which are suitable to their performance levels.
Minister, what in your view then
that is
has
what
been...
it means.
What, in your view, if I could come in, has been the major stumbling block to having a representative World Cup squad? We've sent a team across to Paris. They've come back to South Africa with a cup. Why wasn't that team more representative in your view?
You know, we must first put the record straight. That the team that went to France to represent South Africa was a representative team of South Africa. It was a team representing the people of South Africa in the World Cup. But it did not reflect the number of people of South Africa that play rugby. You must go to the South African Rugby Union for statistics, and they will show you how cosmopolitan our rugby players are. And that is not represented at that level. We said on the week when the team was announced that this was a very good team, and we were confident that it was going to get to the finals and even win the World Cup, precisely because of what they were capable of doing. We saw them. These boys played so many Super 14 games, the Tri-Nation games. It was not an overnight selection, and we knew exactly what package we had. But we also said we can't begrudge them the fact that they have been selected to represent South Africa. It's not their fault. It's a product of their performance. But that cannot be the full stop of the story. The full stop of the story is to achieve what we said we wanted to achieve long before we were free already. That the sport must be integrated, it must be non-racial, it must be on a merit basis. Now, I use the word merit deliberately because it is the most misused word, especially in South Africa, but also in the world. They don't understand what they mean. You see, because you cannot take a child from Kwakwa who eats millipap every day and uses gum trees for training and pit him against a child from Cape Town, Newlands, or wherever, who has a gymnasium, who has a well-balanced diet, who has a specialist coach and a specialist dietitian.
So we're talking here, Minister, about resources, are we not?
But that is resources I'm talking about. I am saying unless and until our children have access to the same resources, you can't talk about merit unless you are distorting the English language.
So then, if I can paraphrase what you're telling us, Minister, the right team then was selected for this World Cup.
The what?
The right team, the correct team. I mean, if we're going to look at resources and what, for example, white South Africans have in terms of resources all these years, perhaps the right team at the end of the day was selected for this Rugby World Cup.
This is why we said that this was a good team, it was the right team, but it did not reflect what South Africa could offer to the world.
Talk also, Minister, that Jake White will see through his contract until the end of December. What's your view on the next coach of the Springboks?
The question of who the South African Rugby Union employs is an employer-employee issue. It has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with government.
What's the next big step for you, Minister? Will you be meeting the team anytime this week?
We met the team at 4:30 before the match. We watched them. They were very tense, I can tell you that. I was very tense myself. The president was very tense at halftime. I found him standing there alone next to the window. And he was very tense because he thought the match could turn around any time. I was still confident. I had seen the way the boys played. Everybody had, especially the media, had intimidated C.J. van der Linde. He was going to be killed. He was going to be eaten alive by his opponent and opposite number. And I really pitied the young man. But from the first two scrums, I knew he was on top of the situation. And I was not worried. I knew we were going to win. Yes, we did not score a try. That was a pattern that the coaches had selected from both sides. I mean, finals are never the most
I mean, you don't see running rugby in finals.
Never in finals. Everybody is trying to retain his half of the field. They kick them into their half and try to make a point out of it. We expected that. So I knew we were going to win. I mean, Monty was on top of his kicking mood. He really did very well.
Well, we'll certainly tell our presenters at OR Tambo to pass on your message of congratulations, Minister. Always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Minister of Sport, Makinkezi Stofile, speaking to us live from our parliamentary studios in Cape Town, taking us to just about a minute and 15 seconds before 8 o'clock. Let's find out what the weather has in store. Final check-in with Margot.
Thank you very much, Sherwin, and a very good morning to you. First of all, let's take a look at our rainfall forecast for today. And we've got a cold front which is making its way through the southern part of the country. That's expected to bring widespread showers down along the Cape South coast, becoming scattered into the southern interior. Scattered showers and thunder showers extend eastwards into KwaZulu-Natal as well, with some isolated showers and thunder showers into the Gauteng, the northwest province and the Free State. Sunshine in and around the region of Uppington and towards the extreme northeastern parts of the country. One warning for today: gale force southwesterly winds are expected to blow through the day today between Mossel Bay and East London. We started off today very nicely across most parts. 15 degrees in Cape Town, Mafeking and Pretoria, 17 degrees in Pietermaritzburg as well as in Port St John's. By lunchtime, a high of 33 expected in Lephalale, 25 the maximum for both Ermelo and for Vereniging, 22 degrees into the interior of the Eastern Cape, 19 degrees in Port Elizabeth. That cool weather extends all the way down along the southern coast towards Cape Town with a high of 19 in Cape Town as well. 19 is also expected at both Alexander Bay and Springbok. A mild day expected in Ferndale. Some relief from the heat that they've been experiencing over the last little while with a maximum temperature of 23 degrees. Tomorrow's weather looks like this. We've got sunshine once again along the west coast and into the western interior, becoming partly cloudy into the central parts with some isolated and scattered showers and thunder showers tomorrow from the Cape South coast through the Eastern Cape into KwaZulu-Natal and then into the eastern interior onto the eastern Highveld as well. The cold front, which makes its way out into the Indian Ocean, leaves cold weather behind it through the southern interior and towards the southeastern parts of the country. Then looking ahead to Thursday, still cool weather expected down towards the southwest. Lots of sunshine, though, expected there, with the easterly flow blowing around the Cape Peninsula on Thursday. Sunshine extends northwards along the west coast towards Namibia. Partly cloudy skies through the central parts. Once again, a shower or two expected towards the northwest province, the Free State, Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal, with very cold weather being introduced into the interior of KZN on Thursday. That's all the weather I have for you for today. Have a wonderful Tuesday. I'll see you again tomorrow. Sherwin Dana is standing by with your news headlines.
8 o'clock here on Morning Live. Thanks so much, Margot. The Springbok rugby team has arrived home to a huge welcome after their victorious World Cup campaign. Thousands of fans gathered at the airport to welcome them, and then the crowd went wild when the squad emerged from the terminal building. After a press briefing, the team will head for their homes and will meet again on Friday for a ticker tape parade starting in Johannesburg. There will also be visits to other cities like Bloemfontein, Durban and Port Elizabeth. Morning Live will continue its broadcast from the airport until 9:30 this morning, and I'm told that at 8:05 this morning we'll be joined by viewers on SABC International. 4 suspects charged with the killing of reggae star Lucky Dube will appear in court today. Police spokesperson Eugene Opperman says the 4 suspects are facing charges of attempted murder and possession of illegal firearms. 43-year-old Dube was killed in what police believe was a botched hijacking in Rosettenville, Johannesburg last week. Meanwhile, it's been announced by his family that his funeral on Sunday will be a private affair. Former Mozambican President Joaquim Chissano says he hopes the Mo Ibrahim initiative will change the way African leaders work. However, he says they have a responsibility for good governance despite the prize. Chissano was addressing, or was announced rather, as the winner of the $5 million prize for African leadership in London yesterday, but was not at the ceremony. And a wave of fires swept through Southern California yesterday, destroying more than 500 homes and forcing the evacuation of more than 250,000 people. More than 700 firefighters are battling at least 13 fires driven by gale force winds across the drought-stricken southern half of California. More than 81,000 hectares has been burned. 1 person has been killed and more than 30 have been injured. Okay, that's a look at the news that we're tracking, the top stories we're tracking today. We're going to take a short break, and after that we'll welcome our viewers on SABC International, who will join us for the duration of this broadcast. Live pictures after the break from OR Tambo. Stay with us. Live pictures coming from the OR Tambo International Airport, just to share some of the emails that are coming through here on Morning Live. Well done, South Africa. Saturday's match was more important than winning. It was about uniting a nation. Everybody, black and white and every colour in between, was behind our team. No one was interested in quotas. They wanted the best team we had to play so we could win. Afterwards, everyone celebrated together, united by a spirit of oneness. I believe the politicians must take note that we are all proud of who we are, and race is no longer an issue to the majority of the people. Stop perpetuating apartheid. Let's get on with building a great nation. Wendy Krauser writing, P.S. I would appreciate it if you just use my first name, should you read this email. Sorry, Wendy, a bit too late for that. Wendy writing to us here at Morning Live. Of course, everyone celebrating in the fanfare as the Boks arrive in the country today. And among the people celebrating is the Group CEO of the SABC, Advocate Dali Mpofu, who had these words to share with us.
This is a message to the Boks and the people of South Africa, all the way from Namibia. Firstly, the broadcasters and the leadership of the broadcasters in our region has expressed their greatest appreciation for what South Africa has done for the region and the continent. The SABC would like to extend our thanks to the millions of our people who watch the game on SABC2, who listen to it on our radio platforms, and those who attended our public viewing sites in Soweto, in Tshwane, in the Nelson Mandela Metro, in eThekwini, and various other sites in our beloved country. And those who heeded our call to wear green on Friday and Saturday. I have no doubt that the boys could feel our united passion when they duly demolished the spirited but abortive performance of the English. To Jake White, we say thank you for teaching us a lesson of patience in the art of leadership. You chose your goal, you endured the pressure, and kept your eyes on the big picture. To our own Zolayeye, the team manager, we say you made us proud. You vindicated the SABC's decision to second you to a different kind of national service. To our fellow citizens, we say thank you, and viva the Bokke, viva the Bokke.
The Group CEO of the SABC, Advocate Dali Mpofu, sharing words of support as the Springbok team arrives back in the country. My director tells me we've lost Leanne amidst the thousands of people that have gathered at OR Tambo. And while we find her, let me share two quick emails with you. Resh Bagu writing to us at Morning Live. We are so proud of our Bokke, and I think that we should make today a public holiday to show our joy and welcome them with all the support we can give them by having the roads full of banners, flags, and people. I tell you, in Kempton Park today, you'll see a bit of that. Another one, Maud Williams writing to Morning Live. The English team lost twice on Saturday, she says. First, they lost against the best team in the world, our Springboks. Then they lost when so many of the team ignored the outstretched hand of our president. I don't know how many people saw that, but I did. Quite offensive, really. The country that gave us the word gentleman have a long way to go. A very proud South African, Maud Williams, writing to us at Morning Live. I'm told we've found Vuyo and Tabiso. Leanne's still missing. Let's go back there.
All right, thank you very much to Sherwin in the studio in Johannesburg. The crowds are here. They are just rising and rising, climbing in numbers. The energy, the excitement, the buzz. We started here at 6 o'clock. By 6:30, I felt like we'd been here for 3 hours. We have just run from the international side to this side, and I showed some of those Bokke a clean pair of heels. There's a press conference coming up, so stay tuned for that. But let's hear from the Airports Company of South Africa. Notemba is here. She's responsible for communications and PR here at OR Tambo International. This airport has not seen anything like this since its founding. Eh?
Quite likely, Vuyo. I think for us this is a very, very exciting time. It's a very challenging one, as you know, because the airport is under construction at every turn. But the crowds are fantastic. It's a wonderful spirit. It just brings a new sense of life into the airport that we don't normally have.
The preparation must have been quite difficult. Security, the large numbers of people who are gathering here, but also your normal passengers who are traveling through, because it doesn't mean that the airport has stopped operating.
In fact, in the preparations, that was a critical factor for us, that we ensure that we're still going to have our flights departing on time, people arriving, being able to be processed, while we host the thousands of people who've come to support the Boks.
Without distraction, that's important, because we've seen a lot of the airport company, not in fact AXA, but the airlines, staffers walking around, also looking to be part of the fans. So this must be disruptive in a way.
It is disruptive. I think, you know, the human factor is always the unknown factor, and as much as possible we are trying to manage that, whether it is from airport personnel, access staff, or some of the other service providers who are in the building. However, having said that, for the vast majority, we're very pleased to say that everything is running fairly smoothly. We did have to close the lower roadway just to facilitate traffic. But for the most part, our flights are departing and landing on time. And for us, when we do 600 landings and takes off in a day, that's a mean feat. So we're fairly pleased in the terms of the way things are going right now.
Surely South Africans are also understanding of the circumstance. Vehicular traffic does get affected as well at the airport, but with an occasion of this nature, of this magnitude, surely there must be some understanding as well.
Well, we're hoping so. We're in a very difficult situation, like I was saying, with the construction, so we've been begging the understanding of the South African public and our international visitors for a while now. But I think for the most part, we are getting goodwill from people. They are starting to see the changes. As you know, we recently opened up our international pier in on the international side terminal, and people are starting to see the fruits of the disruptions that have happened here at the airport. I think today there's just so much excitement with people who've come to support that most passengers feel like they're part of the party.
Let's talk about a little bit of the facts. There's a lot of security personnel, police officers. How many police officers here today?
You know, I couldn't tell you the exact number because as the crowd grows, so does the security contingent. What we have done is say to them that, look, you know, we already have a very strong contingent at the airport at all times. We also have our security personnel. There are also plainclothes policemen who are here as well on a regular basis. So we said to them, look, this is what we need to do in terms of managing the crowd. Create areas where crowds can interact with the team and then facilitate the police, help us facilitate managing the crowd along with some of the other private security companies that are here today. So the number is something that is a bit of a moving target, if I can put it that way. And they are also then moving from the international side to the domestic side as the team also is moving and the public is moving. So I can't give you a number, but they're well into the hundreds in terms of the people that we have here working with us from a security perspective.
Okay, Nothemba, thank you very much. From the airports company, South Africa, representing OR Tambo International. Must tell you, the players were amazingly accessible to the fans. The dozens and hundreds of people who were gathered on the international side there looking for autographs, getting autographs from Brian Habana, getting autographs from the likes of Butch James as well. I can show you my Brian Habana autograph is here as well. We're able to get one in the middle of all of this. And you were saying best wishes, and I thought I'd share this with you, as I know that my son is going to absolutely enjoy this particular one. He's a big fan. But they've come over to this side. We know that there is going to be a press conference. John Smith, who is the captain, together with the coach, Jake White, and the players and the team management are going to be taking questions. They're going to be talking about the journey of 4 years that has culminated in the Springboks reaching the apex of World Rugby as the IRB World Champions for the year 2007. This title to be held for the next 4 years. Let's go to Thabiso now. Thabiso is down there here on the domestic arrival side of OR Tambo International. Thabiso, where are you at this time?
Well, I must say I'm at what you may call ground zero because anyone who's anyone's fan, spectators, is right here behind me. But in fact, most of them just ran out because the bus carrying the team drove past the terminal. So I think everyone thought they'd stop outside and go greet them. But it's still hectic down here. And a couple of gentlemen was chatting and saying some of them don't mind missing work because of this day. I must say it is exciting. It's in terms of South African rugby, in terms of South African nation building, in terms of South African history. This is another one that we can put out there with our best that we've achieved. 961 days to go, standing in front of the clock to 2010 kickoff, and hopefully everyone's saying that maybe the South Africans Bafana can take a leap out of the Springboks and keep the Rugby World Cup right at home. I'll speak to some of the guys who are here. One of the guys was the man who said he doesn't mind missing his job for this. Chief, we must be excited about them.
Yeah, we are very honored to win this cup in South Africa. That means it combines the whole nation. I don't mean only South Africa, the whole Africa.
Now, Abatabaning School would say that maybe rugby is a so-called white sport. But look at the crowds here. This is South Africa. Doesn't matter what color they are. Everyone's out here for the team.
Yeah, I'm happy for everything today, and I've got nothing to say. The thing that I can say today is to Bafana. I wish that they can see what's going on today. I wish by 2010 we can do the same thing for them. soccer 2010. That's the only thing that I can say.
Now, you've obviously been, following the rugby. Who was your favorite team throughout? Who do you see?
John Smith is my favorite, and I wish Jake White is going to be assistant of Bafana Bafana. Maybe Bafana Bafana going to win the World Cup.
So there you guys have it. Bafana Bafana should get the help of John Smith to win the World Cup. In fact, not John Smith, rather Jake White, the coach. Will Jake White take a job? I'm not quite sure. You do know that his job is on the line. Well, supposedly his contract ends on the 1st of December. Let's speak to some of the crowd and see what they say. Chief, you've been here, the whole morning, Judge. How are you? So, Buya, as I said to you, I'm right here on ground zero. Excitement, expecting the team to come up where you on the platform, and hopefully the crowds behind me can get a look at their favorite players. Brian Ben, as you said, I didn't get an autograph, but I'll catch in the press conference. Back up to you.
Okay, Tabisa, thank you very much. I got the autograph for Stenko Simbuli. He was very clear, and Savita is looking for one from Bucky's Water. We'll see what we can do. Andy Marinos is manager of teams at the South African Rugby Football Union. Andy, you were telling us you came back yesterday from France.
No, I didn't come back. Most of the management team, when they came back yesterday, unfortunately, I stayed here in South Africa. I had a lot of work to do and making sure that things did run as smoothly as they did.
Okay, let's talk about the incentive for the players to win the World Cup. What was on the table for them?
Well, I'm not going to disclose any numbers about the incentive on it, but it was a sizable amount of money for them, just reward for the hard work that they've put in. It was obviously incentivized, so it started right from the beginning of the tournament right up until the final game, which was the main crescendo of it. So, look, I think all of them will be have a very good Christmas this year, I'll put it that way.
How does it all work? Are they contracted to South African Rugby Football Union? Do they get a monthly salary from SARFU and that kind of thing?
It's quite a unique system, yeah, as opposed to different countries. We've got like a dual contracting system where their primary contract rests with the province. And what we've had over the last 4 years is a group of players. It's been 24 players, of which 18 of them went to the World Cup, that are on a 12-month contract with SA Rugby, so they get paid a monthly retainer.
On top of the provincial one?
Provincial contracts. And then obviously the non-contracted players, for want of a better word, they just get paid a daily allowance for their time there. Then they all obviously enjoy the same match fees and win bonuses going through the individual games.
Yeah. Now that they are world champions, it's a different ball game altogether.
No, it is. You know, fortunately, we met with the Players Association before the World Cup when we sorted out all the World Cup bonuses, as well as the contracting model and the levels going forward for 2008 to 2011. So we've got that in place. But look, they are world champions. I think their marketability is going to go through the roof, and certainly it's a fantastic opportunity for them to leverage all this for the next 4 years, and hopefully we'll be world champions again in 2011.
Retention is a big challenge. Victor Matfield, even before they went to the World Cup, was saying he's going to play some rugby in France. There's been an offer on the table. I think 4 million rand was the amount of money that was being bandied around. What does it mean? I mean, Jake White worked very hard to get Percy Montgomery to come and play rugby at home, and clearly that was part of his vision, to get the players here to be monitored more closely and more regularly. What kind of impact now? World champions planning for 2011, and yet there are international contracts. Victor Matfield's one in place already.
Well, you know, it's a unique situation. Guys like Victor and John are two of the guys that have gone overseas that are involved in the squad. So the majority of the squad are going to be staying here. Look, the council took a decision, but I'm led to believe that it's in abeyance at present on what our policy is going to be with foreign players. It's a difficult one, especially for an emerging country like South Africa, where the rand isn't that powerful, and obviously these guys got a limited time span to make good money. But I've got no doubt that I'm sure Victor and John, if they're not allowed to play in between now in 2009 and 2011, will certainly, once their contracts are up overseas, come back and make themselves available for South Africa again.
In terms of just the pool of players coming up, I mean, it must give you a lot of pleasure and excitement to see young Francois stay. And I tried to talk to him on the other side. At first he was shy. We eventually got him to say a few words. But really the nucleus of the team seems to be quite young players. J.P. Peterson, Brian Abana already IRB World Player of the Year. This nucleus can go anywhere. Hey? They can last up to 2015 even.
No, well, if you look at the squad that's gone now, with the exception of maybe Os and Percy,
every single one of those guys could quite comfortably play the next World Cup. We've got a big milestone in 2009 with the British and Irish Lions tour here. But, you know, you're right. You look at from Fransstein to Ruan Pienaar, to Johan Smith, to Skalkberger, you know, to CJ van der Linde, to Bismarck du Plessis, Yanni du Plessis. They're all young guys. But what they've got now is a huge amount of experience. A lot of them have got a lot of test caps behind them. And I just hasten to think of what Fransstein, Ruan Pienaar, Bismarck du Plessis, Skalkberger are going to be like 4 years from now in the next World Cup. They're going to be like the Martin Johnsons and the David Campeses and the Tim Horans and the John Eales of this world, which is fantastic for South African rugby and it's fantastic for Springbok rugby that we can have a truly experienced world-class team.
Now, when you talk about Bismarck du Plessis, he got a few minutes at the start of France in the final. That must have been a thrill as well, notwithstanding that it was such a brief moment, but clearly just being there, part of the atmosphere and being on the field, it must really be something that cultivates a better energy for a player.
Absolutely. I think, you know, for every player, you want to be in the 22, then you want to be in the starting 15. Listen to this. And you know, for him to have got on the field like that, even if it was 2-3 minutes, it's an experience. He'll remember the pressure. He'll remember the tension that was out there. The Sharks are going to benefit in the Super 14, and obviously for his test career now, he's been there, he's done it, he's got the jersey, so they say.
Quite a thing that no country has been able to defend the Rugby World Cup having won it. There seems to be a steady decline immediately after winning the World Cup. It's a challenge for us, that,
There is. There's a natural attrition after every World Cup. And I think you look at New Zealand, you look at Australia, they're going through a similar thing. I think where Jake needs to take a lot of credit is he identified his group of players that he wanted. Guys have done well with him under 21s. He kept them together. They're youngsters, so the average age, I think, now of this World Cup squad will be about 25, 26 years old, which is young in terms of rugby. And these guys can now take us forward to the next World Cup. So I don't think we're going to have as big a dent with senior players leaving, because the core of the team are still relatively young.
Now, some of the work that has been done, we never really know about in the public domain. I mean, we talk about it being a 4-year journey. We talk about some of the big matches in which the Springboks were clubbed seriously by some of the other teams. But what was going on behind the scenes? It was only during this World Cup that I learned that there was a coach for peripheral vision even. So there were those kinds of technical nuances that strengthened the team and that brought new insights about the game itself.
Well, I think the big thing is you've got to have a plan.
Okay, the people are seeing Jake White coming down on the other side and creating even more excitement here on the domestic arrival side of the airport. And the team itself, you can see Butch James there, Osturant as well, as they come down to attend this press conference down here, but also to come and celebrate and showing the energy, the pride and the celebration of South Africa as the whole country is united here, from Shosholoza to Viva die Bokke to Hier kom die Bokke, all South Africans united here at OR Tambo International this morning. I think they've gone on to the other side as we see some of the other players also coming down. How big a team did we take to the World Cup? How many players went? How many players went?
30 players, but and a management team of 7 teams. So there's a squad of 47 guys out there. It's a big number, but they did themselves proud. They did a good job.
Did the country very proud as well.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I think this is an experience for these players like you're never going to get again. I think 95 the guys had it, but coming home to this reception is just unbelievable.
And to win the World Cup away from home as well, and that kind of atmosphere, incredible. Huh?
It's huge, and I think that's been one of the things that's been questioned about South Africans. How good are we when we play away from home? And I think just shows the maturity and experience of this team to go and have a good result like what they did in France.
Okay, we'll be cutting away to those cameras again so that we can bring you footage of the players as they come through, ululation, screams, the hundreds and thousands of people who've gathered here this morning, really giving the Springboks a very warm welcome after their triumphant journey to the World Cup out in France. Just to tell you what's going to be happening this morning, the Springboks are going to be engaged in conversation with the many journalists who are gathered here this morning to just come and share some feelings and some thoughts and really the experiences of the Rugby World Cup of 2007 and the journey that has turned them into champions here, and the work that Jake White and his team have done. Victor Matfield, we can see on the other side there. I'm not sure if you can see them. Victor Matfield with Percy Montgomery coming through as well. And they're going to some holding room where they're going to be... they're going to this holding room where the press conference is going to be held. And we will go to that press conference with you so that you can hear what the Springboks are going to be saying here this morning. Okay, as the players move towards that room where the press conference is going to be held, what we'll do here at OR Tambo International is we'll take a break and then we'll come back here and continue with this broadcast as we welcome back the all-conquering Rugby World Cup winning Springboks of the year 2007. Stay with us, we'll be back after this.
And welcome back to Morning Live. Special broadcast today. Welcome back to Springboks. Leanne, we finally found you. How crazy is this? I mean, really, how crazy is this?
It has to be one of the most crazy situations I think I've ever found myself in. As you're walking through this crowd, it was just chaos. Everybody was trying to get at these bucks. I think they are so shell-shocked. They don't know what's hit them.
Well, they're actually coming across now to come and greet the crowd. But I must say as well, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, how do you build a winning nation? How do you build a winning team? Why do you not get those fans behind those teams?
Yeah.
This is an indication that the fans are behind the team, but obviously we need a winning nation for them to actually come back and be behind them, fill the stadiums.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just, if anything, what this proves is that fire inside South Africans, that pride and love for a nation that exists. And I've never felt it as much as I have before. I actually didn't know it existed. I didn't know it would be this big. I always knew that there were going to be thousands of fans coming down here. But the way the crowd reacted when those Boks came out, they actually had to get them off because I think for their own safety, they needed to go away. The guys were being inundated with people wanting signatures and wanting this and wanting that. But it was amazing. I think it'll only hit them a little bit later on. They'll appreciate it when they're sitting in the press conference, or perhaps when they get home and they're having an ice cold beer or Coke or whatever they want. And then they just realize, I can't believe what we have done for this country.
Because I remember during the World Cup, there's a lot of speculation about, well, in terms of where they were, in terms of what the South Africa's like, what is the mood like back home. And I remember we punted it almost on a daily basis. Because I was in Cliptown over the weekend, and it was crazy as well. I mean, there were close to 500 people, and this is a short notice when you put up those fan parks. So I think, you know, in terms of Bafana, as we've all been saying, a lot of the guys out here as well has been saying, you know, if Bafana can perform, if they can put the numbers on the board, bring those results in, they've got no idea that this is the type of support that they'll get. I think the last time Bafana got a crowd, well, half of this maybe, was in, I think, the AFCON when they came back from AFCON 2003. So this bodes very well for us for home.
It was. You know, just getting back to how the rugby guys reacted. I was speaking to Jake White, and this was just on the sideline because I actually don't think that either of us could stand the moshing anymore. So I was talking to him and I said, did you know that this was the atmosphere back home? Did you know what you guys had done? He said to me, look, we were getting messages the whole time, but we had no idea. So these guys are so surprised. And I think that only now have they realized what they truly have won, because they haven't just won a trophy, they've won a nation. And something more than that I don't think that you can do. And I remember the very first match that South Africa played in. We said South Africa has never ever needed to win a World Cup more than they did in 1995. This year, 2007, I think has even more significance than 1995. It's amazing.
The guys are just about to set up a press conference and just about to go to the... But in terms of that, you got guys like, you know, Osterans, 12 years on, he's won his second World Cup. You've got guys like John Smith, you've got guys like Brian Habana, who started playing rugby on that first rugby game between the Springboks played back in 1995. So South African future, South African rugby, South African sport, can take a leap out of this and say, you know what, we can build on this now, because that's what we've been missing, I think, from the past 12 years, is what do we build on?
I know. You know, one of the things in every newspaper you read and every person you speak to, they just say, this is what it's about, okay? It's about a team that can go out there and perform and do their best. Leave the politics out of it, because the politics is what ruins the sport. And right now, this is not politics. This is pure love, passion, and heart. And that's what sport is about. But I was walking past the youth. A group grabbed me and they said, please say on Morning Live, because you guys haven't said it yet. So I am now going to say it. What this has done for the youth, there is no explanation for it. It's given them hope. It's given them the will to want to succeed. I think we've got to go to the press conference now.
Well, that's it for now for us. I mean, we'll come back because I see we've got a couple of fans that we need to speak to. We'll now go straight to the press conference at where John Smith and I think the coach, Jay Kwat, currently stand by, and we'll catch up with you just before we leave here. Ground Zero, straight to the press conference.
Okay, thank you. Introducing to you the coach of the Springboks, Jay White, captain John Smith, team manager Zolaye, MD of SA Rugby Jonathan Stone, group communications manager at the sponsor Sasol Becky Kumalo, and yeah, that's it. And of course, Deputy Minister of Sports, Home Camp, and he's been our big supporter, I must say, from the start of this campaign. Thank you for coming over, Mr. Minister. Now we shall do the Q&A with the panel here. It's not going to be long. A lot of our staff are catching planes to their various homes. After that, we'll do one-on-ones with the players, the next 2 rooms. Okay? That's true. Your organization and your name. Ken Boland.
Ken Boland, Reuters. Jake, after a huge amount of flack and criticism from certain sections, how many apologies have been forthcoming since the triumph?
Just a raft, Ken. So, now again, I mean, it's well documented. I mean, obviously it's been quite a tough 4 years. But I think the most important thing to focus on at this press conference is the fact that they've won the World Cup, and I think you just got to compliment everyone that's been involved in this campaign, because, I mean, it's been an unbelievable performance, an unbelievable experience so far. And I can only say thank you to everyone that was involved. You know, all the coaching staff, all the management, all the conditioning staff. I mean, a lot of criticism about the conditioning of the players, but to play in the final and use one substitute in the 75th minute of a test match when you've been together for 7 weeks of the World Cup just shows how much planning and sort of preparation has been put in.
Yeah, Ashraf Gandar from SABC Sports. Jake, tell us about what I see a unique synergy between yourself and your captain John Smith, keeping in mind that you obviously selected him before you selected your very first Springbok team.
Well, again, I think that's something that I've been speaking about since I got the job. I mean, John has, I think now has been seen in the world as one of the best captains in world rugby. I think it's only fair that, you know, the photographs you're going to be seeing on TV and for the rest of time are going to show him with this trophy. He's been a national junior captain that's won a World Cup. He's been a provincial captain. He's been an SA schools captain. But I think more so, the most important thing, as I've always said, you know, he's a captain of South Africa, and that's a unique kind of captain you need, you know. He's got leadership qualities in getting the best out of everyone in our squad, whether it be a coloured boy, or whether it be a black boy, or whether it be an Afrikaans or a white boy. I mean, the reality is it takes a unique kind of captain to get the best out of them. And I think, you know, you just saw the results this last 7 weeks to see what we've achieved as a group. And, you know, again, I think that I'm quite privileged that I've had him as a captain. I mean, I remember reading a book once and they said, you'd rather have a good captain or a good coach. And the answer was quite simple. You can be the best coach in the world. If you have a bad captain, you're not going to be a good coach. So, you know, again, I think, as I've always said, you know, the fact that he's won the World Cup now, and he'll get remembered in history as, you know, the most capped captain in South African rugby history, the most successful captain, you know, won 2 World Cups as a junior and senior captain.
I mean, that again just spells everything that I've always believed in him as a captain.
Coach, it's Bailey from SABC Sport. You came with your boys from development, the likes of Abana, and you went ahead to recall the power horses, Percy Montgomery as well as Osdurant. What was the rationale behind?
Well, look, I mean, obviously every guy here that's been part of the group, I mean, Brian Abana, I remember correctly when I picked him, they said Abana who, you know, and now all of a sudden he's the RB Player of the Year in 2007, top try scorer at the World Cup. But I think for me, I think the message which I think South African public need to enjoy was how much Monty and Os meant to this team. You know, they both played 80 minutes in the final of the Rugby World Cup. Monty's the leading point scorer in the Rugby World Cup. I think he now holds 80 records for South Africa. Most cap player, most points against most countries. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And to have a guy like Osdurant who played 80 minutes in his 80th Test match in a World Cup final, again, I think just spells out everything that these two guys have meant for South African rugby. And, you know, I now have the MD of SA Rugby here. I thought what they did for those two guys in Newlands when they played against Namibia and give them a bit of a send-off was something special and unique to South African rugby. And again, I think they're going to be remembered in the rugby history books as great legends of the game. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them ever get inducted into the Rugby Hall of Fame at the RB. So, yeah, I mean, it's been an unbelievable performance from everybody. But I think again, without singling out guys, those two guys they've been massive not only this year but in the last 4 years.
John, talk us through the reception you got outside.
Yeah, we expected it to be pretty busy, but what we walked into was far beyond anything we'd ever imagined. So our biggest goal was to be able to get this trophy back to where it belongs in South Africa, and the second thing was to be able to bring it home to the people who really will enjoy it most. And having come back today, seeing all the energy, the people going crazy, and how much they appreciate what's been done, it makes everything just so much more special.
Coach Tsapo from KFM, firstly, congratulations on the victory. It doesn't get bigger than the World Cup. Where to from here as a team?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously a couple of days off, and then we got to go in end of year 2 and play Wales and Barbarians. We have had a chat. I mean, I spoke to Kate and Alistair, the assistant coaches, and I asked them about, you know, what do we do at the end of the year tour? What's the sort of mission? And all of a sudden, you're going to go play Wales as world champions. I mean, can you imagine how they're going to be running out of their change room when we get there, you know? They got knocked out in the quarterfinals, before the quarterfinals, so there'll be a huge amount of hype from their point of view. But I think John again summed it up, you know. When I said, what do you think about this Welsh test? He said, well, we better get used to it because it's going to be like that for the next 4 years. And I think that sums up, you know, if you want to be world champions, I think the challenge now from everybody's point of view is whether we stay world champions and whether every time we play, we look like world champions. And that, I suppose, is the thing that we've got to concentrate on now for the next 4 years.
I have a question for John. Sorry. My name is Stephen Lang from SABC News. An enduring memory of the final for me will be seeing you at the end of the final when the whistle had blown. You were standing there with an almost dazed smile on your face, just trying to take it in. Please describe for us your feelings.
Yeah, people have been asking me about that very moment, about how you can put into words the feeling that you've got once you've worked almost your whole life, you put 4 years of energy into one little cup, and here it sits in front of you. And when that final whistle went, I mean, the first thing I did was drop to my knees and just thank the Lord above for what he's given us and what he's given me, and how he's blessed our team. And I think that's played a huge role in terms of where we sit here today. So it would be amiss of me to try and put it into any kind of words in terms of how we feel. Speechless is probably the only word I can say. When and I've been asked this question since the whistle went, is how do you feel? And I think it's something that takes time to sink in, and it's certainly something that's taken a lifetime to work for. But I think it'll take another lifetime just to understand quite what we've done together as a group.
Yeah, 2 seats away.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you, Butch. Thank you.
Hi, Jake. I'm Thabo from the SABC. What's next for Jake White?
Please tell me. Yes. Sorry, my friend.
Okay, having won the World Cup with the under 21s, now with the senior team. Perhaps you want to conquer the world or match the most number of wins.
Yeah, Tabu, I got asked that question at the press conference after the World Cup final, and I think the one thing that I did learn from Eddie Jones and from Clive Woodward is that you mustn't make decisions that are emotional decisions, you know. And I think at this point, it's all emotion now. I mean, it's all hype and it's all obviously great fun. But I think the best thing to do now is to take some time off and just start reflecting on what do you think should happen next, you know. I mean, obviously you want to coach rugby, and obviously you want to stay in rugby, and obviously you want to, you know, you have certain milestones that you set yourself. But I think when you are feeling like you are now and you're in such a high, I mean, the reality is you probably make sort of judgment that aren't probably in the best interest of everybody. And I think what I'd like to do is take some time off. I'd like to meet, obviously, with my bosses and chat to them. And then maybe meet with the players as well, because I think obviously a lot of the players are also waiting to see what the outcome is. And then when I've worked it all out, I think then make a decision that I think is going to be the best interest of everybody concerned.
Jake Vata from Pretoria News.
Yeah, sorry.
Jake, you left, when you guys left, there was a lot of sort of utterances from the political landscape of the country. Did that have an effect on the team itself? And what sort of effect did having president at the final have on you guys?
Yeah, when you say political utterances, the only utterances I got from the politicians was positive. I mean, I had the Deputy Sports Minister, Gert Oosthuizen, came to watch the first 2 games at the World Cup. He's given leave by the president, which was something that's unbelievable to have him there for 10 days. And then obviously enjoyed the first 2 victories. Then got, you know, obviously before we left, had tea with the president, and his words to me were, don't worry about all the political agendas, just go there and win the World Cup, you know. And I suppose if your president speaks, you listen, so here it is. And the other thing is that to have him at the final and in the change room, I think for me was special, but I think for me the most significant time of the whole World Cup is when someone picked him up and put him on his shoulders, and then he had to hold the World Cup above his head, you know. He said he was a bit scared of heights, but he said the fact that he had the World Cup in his hands obviously made him very, very proud to be a South African. And I think that will sum up, you know, the whole campaign for me. I think it sums up the whole campaign for the country. And I don't think you're going to see much bigger pictures in the world of sport than seeing Springbok players on the podium with their president holding the World Cup above their heads.
Mathamala Marake from the SABC. To John and Jake, in no particular order. The next few years will be crucial for South African rugby in that there'll be more pressure from not just the opponents but also from within the country to develop players, and perhaps politically. How do you see the future?
Well, I think, you know, as I said, in '95 I was a young schoolmaster, and I watched the World Cup final, and obviously we're all part of that. We all understand what a major and massive time it was in our lives and how it changed South Africa, and the statements that were made by then the state president Nelson Mandela. You know, I think that the one thing that we've learned in the last couple of days is that you know, some countries don't get it once, we've had it twice. And I'm talking about not only the World Cup but the opportunity to actually develop, you know. So I think, as I said in the press conference, like having the birth of your second child, you know. And the reality is you've got to make sure that you take advantage of the fact that some countries get it, as I said, never. And we've got it twice. And the challenge is up to us now, is whatever mistakes we made from '95 to 2007, and whatever we feel they are and whatever people around feel they are, is we get another opportunity to make sure those mistakes don't happen again. And I think that is the challenge that lies ahead for not only South African rugby, but I think South Africa as a country as well.
Jake, Brian Mulder, Media 24.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian.
If you're in a pub and you had to describe your feelings when you were waiting for the TMO to give the result of the disallowed England triumph for you and John, was it a sucker punch, or do you know who hit you?
If I was in a pub and I had to see that action replay, I suppose if I was in a pub in South Africa, I'd be saying no try, and if I was a pub in London, I'd be saying try. But I mean, you know, the one thing that I always said as well is that, and Brian, I said when I got the job, I said defence wins World Cups. And I mean, I know a lot of people said attack and we don't score enough tries and all that sort of thing. And isn't it amazing that a number 8 tackling a wing on a corner flag on defensively and not one try in a World Cup final, again, just repeats everything I've been preaching since I got the job, you know. As I said, conditioning has played a massive role, defence has played a massive role, and history. I mean, that's another thing which you asked me now about, you know, where do we from now? History is an amazing thing. You know, no tries in 95, no tries in 2007. No team's ever won a World Cup that's lost its pool games. You know, no team's ever got a back-to-back World Cup final victory. England have tried now twice, you know. They haven't got it. Australia tried, they didn't get it. So I think when you look at history, you've got to make sure that you use it in your advantage. And that's, again, just reaffirming we've got another chance as a nation. I think we must make sure we look at history and make sure we don't make those mistakes.
Okay, guys, at this stage, I'd like to give the opportunity to the Deputy Minister of Sport, the politician,
Thank you so much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media, to our coach and our captain and the squad. Welcome back home. Thank you, Becky. Welcome back home. To all the people that responded to the call of our president to turn up here to give our squad, the Springboks, heroes welcome, because they are the heroes. Thank you for traveling to the airport over Tambo so early this morning. Thank you for the media that will assist us to carry a positive message that we are a winning nation indeed. And Jake, you may recall that when we, the night after the president had tea with you, John, and the squad, and said goodbye, we were saying goodbye at the official banquet of Sasol, hosted by Sasol. And towards the end, we were requesting you, on behalf of government, to not only bring back the Web Palace, but to once again prove to the world that indeed, as South Africans, we are united in our diversity. And you did exactly that. Whatever we watched of you on and off the field in France, you made us proud. And from government and on behalf of all the people in this country, you not only united us, you filled us with pride. You made us winners, but we are. And thank you for demonstrating so ably the power of sport. Namely that sport has no language barriers. It unites people. And my plea is, let's take this positive momentum forward and build on that with 2010 in the eye, and don't forget 2011 is around the corner. So to SA Rugby, thank you so much for having us here. And Jake, to you and the squad, thank you for all the great times we had together in France, and thank you for all the greatness to our president and our deputy president and our minister of sport when they visited and supported. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan Stones, MD of SA Rugby.
I just want to reflect on a number of questions talking about the way forward, and to add to what the deputy minister has said. Where to from now? And really the key word here is one of enhancement. The President was quoted yesterday of saying that excellence is not developed overnight. This team has developed excellence. We need to enhance that. With your permission, I'm going to share with you a note that I sent to John just before the semi-final. So Isaac Newton said, "I have come so far because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." These are the giants that future generations of Springbok players will stand on. We have to enhance this group, not destroy. Build on what we've attained. I was in Paris on Saturday night, and the pride of being a South African was absolutely amazing. We've got to build on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kumalo from Sasol.
No, thank you very much. I just want to convey two key messages, I think, for me. Watching the World Cup, what I think came across quite interestingly was which by the way lacks in soccer, that fighting spirit. I mean, if you see Skalkberger tackling people, Habana doing it, John Smith doing it, I think we can still do better in football. I think that this notion of respecting other countries, we played against Italy the other day, is the same story. Let's show no respect to whoever our opponents are. And I think that that kind of krach, as I call it, as we call it in our township, I think is something that will stay with me and stay with Sasol, I think, for the rest of our lives. The second thing that I want to say, and I say this with all the humility I can muster, the President said something yesterday, which I want to repeat again today. I know and I'm aware that people who fire and hire coaches and the technical staff is the South African Rugby that does that. It's not sponsors or anybody else. But I really think that it would be very odd, frankly, and totally unnecessary, I think, and we think, if all of a sudden we win the World Cup, we all of us pontificate, all of us get happy, the following day, the following month, we then say the coach has not lost even a single game at the World Cup. Whatever the deficiencies, whatever our views are about the whole range of things, I think for us at SASOL, would like to really say that the SA Rugby must take a decision with regard to the coaching and the technical staff. It's their decision, not our decision. But I really think it would be a moment that I don't think we can extend to our children and our children's children. And I just really hope that amidst all this euphoria and all this excitement of the World Cup win, we must not lose sight of the fact that if you build a World Cup team, you spend a number of years developing that team, building that particular team, whatever the political issues, whatever the social issues are. And I think for us at SASOL, we really do hope that management of SA Rugby will sit back and think about this quite soberly. I mean, here is the son of the soil, an African son, winning the World Cup with his team of players. I think what we must then say, all of us, is then what do we then do to take this rugby to the next trajectory? And I really think it will be a moment of a disaster as far as I can see, as far as we can see. But and as I conclude, I want to say that we are not going to interfere with SA Rugby. We'll respect the decision that they take, and we'll support that particular decision. I think that's an absolute message to say.
I thought I'd given 32 minutes and it took 4. So that you'll be a minute.
Oh, well, mine is just to conclude by saying thank you very much. Bravo to the Springbok team. We left here as underdogs. Nobody gave us a chance to win the Rugby World Cup 2007. So many things were said, socially and politically. Here we are, on the 23rd, we brought the Webb Ellis Trophy back to South Africa. All what it says, ladies and gentlemen, that we're all bound in the same destiny, same garment of our destiny. So it's important that we hold hands and pull together as a nation. We have one soul, one heart, and we have one objective, to be a great nation. This is a testament of our greatness. Let's use this platform, opportunity, to build this nation. This is your team. These are the warriors from this country. We've made ourselves proud by playing for you, you supporting us. We've made you proud. And thank you very much for supporting from the media, from sponsors, and from everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you, Butzola. Okay, now, thank you, panel. Thank you, everybody. Next stage is one-on-one with the players. The next two. Thank you. What the opportunity? Those who can make their way through the next.
Yes, I am, Jan. Well, welcome back to the conclusion of the press conference. As you've heard, it's an opportunity now for members of the press to meet one-on-one with the players and get into some of the really tangible issues around the Rugby World Cup and their own experiences. You heard from the sponsor, SASOL, about the future of the coach. SASOL would like the coach to be there. Gert Oosthuizen, who is Deputy Minister of Sport, saying that they are also very supportive of the coach and the work that has been done over the last 4 years. And John Smith, the captain, a very proud man, very emotional, and the energy in this room quite palpable. Let's welcome Leanne as well, who's been here all morning. You've worked very hard navigating the people. I think that's the big thing, navigating the people.
Getting them, speaking to them, getting their first words as they enter in here. It was a very inspiring press conference. It really was. I think that the message here was this is an example of what a nation can be and what it is like to be heroes. And we have the heroes here with us. And I think that, I hope at home you've managed to get to grips with what this has actually done and have sensed the feeling that has been here at OR Tambo International Airport. There's still thousands of people outside hoping to get a glimpse of some of their stars and heroes, and I'm sure they will come out and see the crowds again eventually.
Yeah, and powerful words as well from the MD of SA Rugby about Isaac Newton saying that I got here because I stood on the shoulders of great men, and these are the great men on whose shoulders future Springbok players are going to be standing. It was interesting. I spoke to young boys from Jeppe High School for Boys. Jake White was a teacher there. He was a pupil there at one time in his life, and very proud they are. The principal of Jeppe High School for Boys was there as well at the World Cup himself, sharing in the experience. He was not able to get close to the team, but he shared in the experience and saw them win the World Cup. Nothing could be better than that.
No, not at all. That is amazing. And the young guys are still standing outside. I saw a lot of signs about children bunking school, but we'll ignore that today. That we will ignore. But, you know, one of the other proud and loud statements made at the press conference was, leave politics out of rugby. And let's see what happens. Let's see in the future. A lot more questions are going to be asked. I'm sure here on SABC Morning Live, throughout the whole of SABC, we'll be getting a chance to talk to all of the individuals after all of this has settled down, because I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. This elation is here to stay for a while, and we certainly will be following them all the way. Thank you very much for tuning in.
It's powerful to see your nation winning a World Cup twice in your lifetime. It's incredible. I know. I had the same feeling in 1995, 2007, we're back here again. Well, with this kind of team, I think it is very possible that in 2011, we could be standing here again, saying the same thing. Yeah. I hope we can do the same for 2010. Eh?
We'll break some more records. Let's do it twice, South Africa. Have a lovely day, everyone. We're back again with you tomorrow morning.
Okay. Shop, shop. Hey, Chada. Shop, shop.